So why can't I see the thing that's directly below it? I should be able to see the thing that's directly below it. Why not?
What do you think, like, if I can see, like, the top of a tree, behind someone's house? Like, I'm not really understanding what you're saying. So you could see something higher up than you can see across the ground. You would agree that's normal, right? Like, you could see something that's higher up at a further distance than something
I know why
across
it
the...
happens, but I don't think the flat Earth people have a valid way of explaining why it happens.
Well, no, I mean, I'm asking you, do you agree that if something's higher off the ground, like a street light, you could see the top of that street light more than you could, like, from further distance than you could see the bottom of that street light?
Right. I understand the reason why is because the Earth is curving, but your flat Earth people don't have that reason to be a reason. So what is their reason for it happening?
Let's put the street light 1 mile away.
Okay.
Let's do a half mile away.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
what do
actually
you
on the
think you
street
could
right
see?
now.
Yeah,
I
what
can
do you
look
think
down the street.
what do you see? Do you see the top better or the bottom better?
I can see pretty much all of it at a mile. Not that bad. I'm at a half a mile right now. I'm looking at. I've got a stretch of street I'm looking at right now. I can pretty much see all of it
You see all of it? Okay, cool. So the Earth's not curved.
in a half mile.
Yeah, the Earth's not curved in a half mile.
Well, I mean, half mile it may deviate.
If it's not curved in a half of a mile, it's not curved at all, dude. That's how its scale
Why
works.
not? Why not?
Because if you're saying it's perfectly straight for a half of a mile, then it's not going to all of a
So
sudden start
it's
curving.
one random half a mile I chose just because I have to be going down the street.
Yeah, and it's perfectly flat, you said.
Well, no, it's not perfect flat. I see the road going up and down.
Well, then how do you see the bottom of how do you see the bottom of the street lamp then?
Well, where I'm at right now, I was literally driving down a valley. I could see the lights farther off that are higher than me. They're actually higher than me because I was going down a little bit of a hill. So I understand terrain. Terrain isn't my problem. My problem is
Perspective.
if I'm standing on a mountain in, let's say, West Virginia, and I'm up, 7,000 feet or whatever the height of the mountain is, and I'm looking across the Atlantic Ocean, why can't I see Europe? You know,
Do you believe light attenuates?
what's your definition of attenuation?
Like, when it's coming towards you, it starts to reflect back in the other direction off of the particles in the atmosphere.
I like light scattering, right? You're saying it scatters.
No, I'm saying it attenuates.
Well, I mean, what you're describing is scattering off the molecules in the air. So
Yeah, that's what.
Some of it's not getting to you. Okay.
Hold on, let me get the definition of attenuation for you.
Right. But if
we made a whole light disappear once. We made a whole light.
Leave the aperture open for hours at nighttime, I should be able to see, Europe, because enough of the photons should get to me.
Here's the thing, though. We made a light. You knew I was trying to get NPR. Come on. We made a light disappear without moving the camera or the light. Line of sight on the light, you could see the light. Then we didn't move the camera, we didn't move the light, we didn't put anything in between the camera of the light and made the light disappear.
And how did you do that?
Are you aware that can happen?
What was the difference? What happened? What made the light?
Just as long as you're aware that can happen. Like, do you agree with that?
I want to know how it happened. I want to understand what made the light.
I'm going to tell you how.
Possible that it happened?
I'm going to tell you how, but I'm going to tell you how. But you agree that could happen?
If I understand how it happened, maybe I'll agree with it.
So you're saying it's not possible that
he's so
could happen?
dishonest, bro. So fucking dishonest right now.
I don't know what phenomena you're discussing, so I'm not going to sit there and agree to a phenomena I don't know.
Okay, can I just really quick go through that attenuation thing, Jeremy, and then I'll let you go, okay? Because
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
looked up how to describe it with light. The best, one of the best ways to describe it is the light attenuation. Remember, the light hits particles and bounces off in different directions, causing the beam to lose its focus, like headlights in fog or like a laser in a smoky room.
I get that.
All right,
But if
cool.
I've got a light that's putting out trillions of photons, and those photons are heading in my direction from a far off distance, if I left a camera sitting there staring in that direction for hours, it's going to get some of them photons. Some of them are actually going to make it through the atmosphere, get to my camera. I should be able
Not
to build up an
not
That's not how
necessarily.
light works, dude. That's not how light
of a
works.
faraway object. Well, it
Light
does.
hits particles and bounces off in different directions, causing the beam to lose its focus. That happens with all lights. I don't care how many
I
photons you
know
want to
we do
invoke.
this though. We aim cameras at objects that are really far away and build up an image over time. You can do it with something that's very far away or something that's in a very dark location. If you left the camera open long enough, you will build up an image over time of that.
You understand things do obstruct light. You get that concept?
I understand the obstruct light, but some
Okay.
of the light gets through.
Do you agree?
What about a wall?
Sometimes it doesn't get through though. With the example I gave of when we made a light disappear that we had line of sight on without moving anything or putting anything in between it.
Okay. What was the thing that happened to make the light disappear? What was the thing that actually took place?
The atmosphere.
Just
we changed the
Yeah.
atmosphere. Yeah.
So, what did you do to change the atmosphere? Was this like a cloud chamber or something, where
No, it was just in a
temperature.
warehouse.
and the
It
light
was
went
just in a
across?
warehouse.
You
It
introduced.
was just in a warehouse.
It was in a warehouse.
It was in a warehouse. All he did was open it. We had the line of sight. We got the stationary camera, the stationary light. We can see the thing. We can see the light. He opened the door, let some cold air in, and now you can't see the light. We changed the atmosphere in the warehouse, and you couldn't see the light when we should have had line of sight on it. Just like a flat Earth would have a line of sight. Just like a line of sight would have just like a flat Earth would have line of sight on Europe.
Yeah. So you're saying the density of the cold air changed the direction of the light so much so that you couldn't see the object at the other end of the room.
No, he didn't say that. He said it made the light attenuate, dude.
Right, but it changes where the light goes. The light
Nobody
doesn't.
has a measurement of that, okay? You can't make that claim unless you're the one measuring which direction the light's bending. So what we know, what science knows, is that light has attenuated, so that therefore it can't reach you. Okay? When you invoke it bent this way or it bent that way, you're gonna need a measurement for that.
That's what it's doing, though. In essence,
And
if the light is coming at you directly and something gets in its way and changes its direction, it has basically bent the path of that light.
Okay, so then do you agree with the laws of refraction that the incident ray, refracted ray, and the normal to the interface all lie in the same plane?
I don't know that to be true. I don't know it that well to be able to sit there and answer you correctly in that.
So you don't agree with the law? I thought you were just talking about refraction, dude. I'm talking about the first law of refraction.
You know, I haven't sat there and studied refraction so much so that I can sit there and say whether you're saying it correctly or not.
Well, this is what they say about the first law of refraction: the incident ray, the refracted ray, and normal to the interface all lie in the same plane. You know what that means?
Could that plane be vertical?
Sure. What, dude? But do you understand what this means? This means that when light, like you say, it curves, it's actually all straight lines that are curving. It's all straight lines. Like when it gets into water, it starts traveling a straight line. If it keeps on hitting different densities, it's straight line, straight line, straight line. You know how you can make a circle in paint and it's all straight lines?
Right, I understand. Yeah,
Yeah. So then
it's all little teeny tiny straight lines. That's what light does. Light doesn't know what a curve is. It just understands straight lines. Not that it's thinking. Light's not thinking.
Cool.
But it just travels straight.
Cool. So the incident ray, refracted ray, and the normal to the interface all lie in the same plane, right?
I don't know that to be true. You're saying something. I don't know if that's true.
That's the law of refraction, the first law of refraction, dude.
I
And
don't
and
know
then
it
you
is.
just
I've never
confirmed it
read the
with
law
your
of refraction.
explanation.
I don't know for a fact. I don't know if you're just reading it to me or if
I'm just
nonsense.
reading it.
I don't
I'm
know.
just
He's
reading
reading
it.
it off Google. Yeah, that's the fucking.
I,
That's what Google
I'm
says.
assuming you're reading it. Okay, I'll assume you're reading it.
Okay, yeah, I'm reading it. And are you saying this is not true?
I don't know it to be true. I'm sure
Okay,
that you're
so are
reading it,
you
but I'm not
saying
sure.
that it is possible if I Google the laws of refraction and it hits me with 1 and 2, it's possible those are just wrong?
I don't know. I don't.
Okay, so
I'm
then
sitting here driving
therefore
a car, so I don't
if
know.
I Google the Earth is a globe and it tells me it is, we can't trust that.
Google has been known to be wrong, but I'm not even getting into that
Okay,
kind of
all
conversation.
right, dude.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
okay.
right now,
We can't
I'm
know
driving a
it.
car.
Yeah.
I can't see what you're typing on the screen. Okay, so I don't know whether it's true or not. I
Dude,
haven't done the
Post
research
it,
or not. I'm just
Tara.
being
Post
honest
it.
here. I don't
dude,
know.
this guy, you don't understand what laws of refraction are, and then you want to claim that you know everything about refraction to the point that we
I
should
never
be able
said
to
that.
see London. Yeah,
I
you
never
did. You
said
said
that.
we should be
You're a
able to see
fucking liar.
London. Dude, you
You're a
said we should
fucking
be able to.
liar. I never
Yeah, if
said
we
that
are,
I
if
know
you,
everything. How
dude,
dare you say that? You're a fucking
because
liar.
it's
I never
true.
said that.
I'll explain to
Anybody
you the
listening to this
entailment of your,
conversation
dude,
knows that you're lying right now.
I'm
I never
not.
said that.
There's an entailment to your statement when you say we should be able to see London from New
I'm
York.
asking
That
why we can't. I'm asking
exactly.
what the flat Earth person's
It's refraction. I'm
way of
explaining to
explaining
you.
it.
It's refraction.
I'm not
That's the
saying I
reason we
know it.
can't.
I want to know what the
Refraction.
Yep.
flat Earth's description is.
Refraction.
Refraction's a mutually exclusive proof that the Earth is not a globe.
Yeah. So refraction is the thing that's causing you not to be able to see London from New York. Dude, and then I tried to explain to you what refraction is, and you're like, I don't think that exists.
Yeah, and it's just, being incredulous. It's like I am not
No,
gonna
I'm not saying it
engage, and
doesn't exist.
I'm
I don't know
just
whether
gonna
you're
act like I
correct.
don't believe it. And it's like that doesn't work.
No, I'm not
Right,
saying
that's
I don't.
autobiographical, Rigger. If someone's like, I don't get it, I
I
don't
don't know.
believe it, whatever. That's all autobiography, like no one asked. You know what I mean? If they say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like nobody cares about your feelings. Just listen. Just
Back in the
listen and
day in
see
high
if you
school, we
agree.
used to say, yeah, thanks for your life story. It's
Yeah. I tell
a
people
classic.
blog more.
Dude, it's a huge problem because no one really talks about this first law that all of these rays lie in the same plane. Now, are you going to claim there's a plane over top of the spherical Earth?
I don't even know what you're even talking about. A plane over the spherical Earth.
There's tons of them. You never seen an airplane? I'm just
Well,
kidding.
there's an infinite number of planes I can sit there and
I'm just
imagine being
You're
over
gonna
the
lose
flat
them.
Earth or
no,
being over the.
I understand that you don't understand what I'm saying, so I'll just leave you alone.
I have the ability. I have the ability to imagine a plane over the Earth, but on a flat Earth, I can understand that. But on a globe Earth, the plane would have to be in a sphere to be able to do anything like
It'd be
what you're saying.
curved, right? It'd have to be a curve.
A curved sphere that be outside of the surface of the Earth.
You know what a tool called the water level is?
Yes, I know what a water level is.
The siphon, right? With the tube, the long tube that you put water in.
Water, yes.
Yeah.
If you draw the air out of it, you'll get a decent level.
You know what that thing does in
It's,
reality?
yes.
What is
I
that
wouldn't
tool
call
used for?
I wouldn't call a water level a siphon.
Gravity pulls the water down, and the density of the water hopefully is equal all the way across it. But anyhow, ignore that.
What does the tool do? Why do we
Water
use
creates
that
a
tool?
level that the center of the tube, the two ends of the tube create a level that is at the center of the tube. Wherever the center of the tube is, that's what those lines are level with.
Okay, if I read off the internet what the tool does, it's going to say what you said.
I don't know whether it'll say what I said because I just said it colloquially.
I know, but
idea.
it should be kind of close, right?
I think it'll be somewhat close.
Okay. A water level is a tool in reality that sets up a local horizontal plane,
Right.
right? And
That local
all of the verticals along that horizontal plane are perpendicular to the horizontal.
the only point that's truly level is the point directly in the center of the level.
So you're saying vertical is not what's called perpendicular to horizontal.
Each what you're doing, you're creating a perpendicular to a plumb. A plumb is a weight on a string.
No, I'm using a water level. There's no weights or strings involved.
Level's doing the same thing. It's creating the perpendicular of the plumb.
No, water just does this naturally. It doesn't need a line or a plumb line.
I understand that. A plumb line does it naturally also. A plumb line gives you that vertical.
No, a plumb line does not set up level. I'm sorry, sir. A water level sets up level. A plumb line sets up what's called perpendicular to level. So therefore, if I extend a 6-foot water level, if I extend a water level over...
If you hung a plumb line directly in the middle of your water level, that plumb line would be perpendicular to your water level. But if you put the plumb line out at the end of your water level, it's not.
So you're saying it's not that water level is not setting up a horizontal plane?
It's setting up one that's perpendicular to the plumb of the center of the plumb line of the water level.
That's not correct.
He just said all points of the water level are not level. Because it only works in the middle.
Correct. Only the point in the dead center is actually level.
Dumb.
Okay. So if I take that water level, right, the 6-foot one, and then I make a square with it, let's say, and I make a square plane, where is the parts that are perpendicular to plumb?
I don't know what orientation your square is in, but
in the horizontal plane orientation.
When you're building a house and you're leveling the walls, you're plumbing the walls. In a house, let's say the north and the south wall, they're plumb, okay, and their tops are level, but they're not plumb and level to each other.
Okay, yeah, you'd need evidence to support that claim, but okay, let's just go with that claim, right? So I'm doing that with a water level, right? We're just building a 6-foot by 6-foot shed, okay? So I'm setting up the boundaries. I made the square, and it's all level according to the level, the water level, right?
Right.
So now, where is the point that's perpendicular to that level there? In all 4 points. Is it in the middle of all? Is it in the middle of all 4 points?
It'd be in the middle of this room, or wherever the middle of your structure is.
Okay, now I'm gonna take a 3-foot water level, right? And I'm just gonna make a X in that square, right? Where now is the vertical perpendicular to the horizontal?
It'd be the center of your water level, wherever the center of your water level is.
No, I have tons of them. I had a water level set up all the 4 walls. Now I got one making a square in the middle of them. I want to know where it is. Where is the point?
Problem with doing it in a 6-foot by 6-foot space, the difference between one or the other is so minute, you wouldn't be able to measure the difference between it. However, if the structure was
not
10
there. There is no
then you
difference.
can't make the claim.
10 miles by 10
If that's
miles.
the case, then you can't. Okay, we'll do 10 mile by 10 mile. We'll do a 10-mile long water level. Okay, I got 10 mile by 10 mile. I make the 10-mile long square, right? And then I make 4 squares inside that square. Where is it perpendicular to level?
If your water level went from one wall of the 10 miles all the way to the other 10 miles, you used a tube that was 10 miles long, okay? The true level point is in the middle of that tube.
Okay, yeah, but now that I've separated that big 10-mile square, I've separated that big 10-mile square into 4 other squares. Now where is it perpendicular?
It's always wherever the middle of your plumb line was.
What do you mean? I don't have a plumb line, dude. I'm just using a
Your
water level.
your water level. I'm sorry. It's always the middle of your water level.
Okay, but I made a square with the water level, so I have 4 points, right? When
Right,
I have
wherever
the square.
the middle
Okay,
of your
now
water
I'm
level
going to
was.
make 4 more squares inside that one square. How many more points do I have?
It's always true that wherever the middle of your water level is the only point that's actually
Okay, so
level.
now what I'm going to do is take a line. I'm going to take a water level from the middle of those points and go to the other middles of the other points, right? And now every single vertical will be perpendicular to the horizontal along that water level, right? Because I've connected all those points that you were talking about.
Yeah, but they'd all be at different elevations off of sea level.
You ever
Wow,
hear of kettle logic?
The outer
that is
corners
really
of the
intense.
building would be at a different elevation than the center of the building.
Okay, do you ever hear of kettle logic?
On a 10-mile across building, the outer walls would be higher elevation than a wall that's built in the center of the damn thing.
Okay, do you know what kettle logic is?
Cattle logic?
Kettle, yeah, like Kettle.
Kettle logic?
Yeah, Kettel or whatever, kettle. Yeah,
Okay.
like a
What is
kettle logic. Sigmund Freud came up with it because he's like, okay, we have a damaged kettle, right? And there's 2 people there. And the one guy goes, hey man, when I borrowed it, it was already damaged. And so the guy keeps questioning him and he's like, well, I don't know about that. And then the guy goes, I didn't even borrow the kettle.
So he
You
shifts.
see?
He
So
shifts the
yeah,
whole point. Yeah, I get it. I
yeah,
get it.
yeah. So it's a nice way that I'm calling you a liar.
Oh, but I'm not lying. That's the problem.
You're using kettle logic.
The fact that you don't understand that I'm not lying is the funny part.
You're using kettle logic. You're like, dude, if I put your whole story together right now, I would just show you, okay? Okay, I have 1 point that's perpendicular to horizontal in this one area. Then I made a square. Now I have 4 points that are perpendicular to horizontal. How
Two
many
outer
places
walls
on
of structure.
how many places on the earth can be perpendicular to horizontal? How many points at the same time?
One.
Okay, see, there's your kettle logic.
Yeah,
You've been exposed.
that's like purposefully disingenuous, I think.
Because we're on a
Or
sphere. We're on a sphere. It can only be one.
why do you think we're on a sphere?
Because we are. You guys don't
Okay.
understand.
No, that's
Well,
fine.
that's a
No,
great
because
argument.
we are.
I understand that. I understand that that's circular logic. But
No, that's
in
all right
regard-
though. That's all you have. That's all the Earthers, the Globers have is circular logic. So you're fine. No, yeah, it's a
So
ball
you're
because
saying
it is. You just
you're saying
here's
that
the thing. You
all the
probably
ships in
shouldn't.
the world
Are
that
you
use
gonna speak over me,
GPS,
dude? Come on,
all the ships in the world that
dude. Why
use
are you yelling? Hey,
spherical,
excuse me, sir.
geography
Excuse me, sir. Why are
and
you
from
talking
point
over
A to
me?
B are wrong.
Damn,
All
that's
those ships
crazy.
that are sailing the southern seas are wrong.
Hold on.
Because
Hold on.
Yeah, this is
There
what
you
he's gonna
go.
do, so you can't get out your point.
Hey, I don't know what your name is, but you were speaking over me, and I was trying to kind of engage with you after listening to you do circular logic and basically lie to somebody for about 10 minutes. That's fine. You can do that here, but you'll probably end up getting muted if you're being rude to the moderator trying to coax you out of your own confusion. So, yeah, please don't do that. This is just a warning. I'll go ahead and unmute you now. Shit, where is he? Did he leave?
He bailed. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys. Fuck. Did I ruin your Black Panther party? My bad.
No, it's all good, dude. It's all good. I've been trying to introduce this idea of kettle logic for a little while. It hasn't caught on yet, but
Dude,
I
I got
kind
in
of
the car, I started listening, and my blood immediately started boiling. I was just like, this fucking disingenuous mother... You know what I mean? I just started getting upset. I should have let you handle it. I'm sorry.
it's all good. The 4 squares is the killer. Because
Dude,
yeah, that's when you're right.
I've literally been plumbing and leveling these fucking metal struts all week for this thing I'm building, and I was about to lose my shit.
So you found
Yeah.
out from experience the Earth is not flat, right, Platypus? Because it's really
Yeah,
hard to
the
make
idea.
it flat.
When
Yeah,
he said when he said they're not all plumbing level to each other, I was like, dude, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Oh, it's game over there, right? He's saying my walls are leaning out.
But I can't measure the difference. I don't actually know there's a difference because I can't measure a difference. But I know there's a. It's like what are you on about?
Yeah, it's like he was caught in the infinite regress, and then, what do you do when you're caught in that? Well, you have to go to the dogmatic statement because it's a sphere, and then you're like, okay, so why is that true? You got to go to circular reasoning because it's a sphere, and it's like that's all three of a Griffith's trilemma: dogmatic, infinite regress, and circular. Kettle logic is interesting though. That's like a student who's caught cheating, and they say to the teacher, "I didn't cheat," and the teacher's like, "You cheated. You copied the other student," and they go, "Well, I copied the other student because I was confused what the question said." So that refutes the first statement, and then the teacher goes, "Well, if you didn't know what the question said, then why didn't you ask me?" It's like, "Well, I didn't even need to cheat. I knew all the material." It's like each statement, each excuse refutes the last, and you're stuck in this like, back to back refutation of yourself. Or like let's say you get caught speeding, right? A police guy accuses you of speeding. You go, "I wasn't speeding," and then he goes, "Well, I clocked you at 10 miles over," and you go, "Well, I was speeding because I was rushing to help someone." And then he's like, "Okay, that may be the case, but that's speeding. That's against the law." Then you go, "Even if I was speeding, the street signs, they're unclear." That's kettle logic.
Whatever it was really embarrassing to hear a grown man it was like, are you lying? Who are you lying to? I think he was lying to himself. And I think that's what made me so upset. I could hear I could like see the weird smirk on his face through his voice where he's like, I'm fucking lying out of my ass to these people who I don't care about, but I do kind of care about myself, and I'm kind of buying my own lies. Like, I hear that a lot when I hear Globers talking. It pisses me off.
Well, I'll tell you what, dude. I do apologetics, and sometimes I think I'm trying to convince myself. I'm trying to come up with an awesome argument. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Globe apologetics are people that kind of doubt it, and they're just trying to prove it more and more to themselves. And that's probably why they hang out with flat earthers, because they kind of, they're like, yeah, I'm kind of like you guys. You know what I mean? But they just won't admit it. Kind of like how, like sometimes when someone's in the closet, they'll like bash on gays. You know what I mean? But they're actually gay. Themselves.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You guys are just saying that because you're a bunch of homos. I'm joking. That's me being the basher. Never mind.
You broke up a little bit. I couldn't hear you. You're probably gonna have to open the door from the closet.
Yeah, thanks. You're gonna have to come out of the closet to tell us that one.
I heard somebody's hot take on the war in Iran, and it was so simple. It made me think that they might be onto something. He was like, the whole world is a stage. All this war shit is made up. There's plenty of oil. They just want us all to drive electric cars. And I was like, fuck, dude. Is he onto something there? Like, there's plenty of oil. Like, even before the war, we would be arguing, like, is oil a finite or, some kind of renewable source? What's going on? But now it's like, yeah, they're obviously fucking the economy up. I don't know if this fucking war is real, but one thing's for sure, I think they definitely want us all driving electric cars.
It doesn't work for me because Amazon had that big contract of all EV, and then they dumped them all, and they went back to gas.
Did they really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I'm not really on. I'm not on top of that topic as much, but there seemed to be locally, like a kernel of truth.
Yeah, like locally, you don't see Well, I shouldn't say you don't see. You hardly see any of them around anymore.
Oh no, I'm on the 405 north to Santa Monica right now. I can count them. There's a Tesla there. There's a electric Toyota
No,
right there.
I meant like through Amazon. And if it was going to happen, I expect it to be, you know what I mean? I'd expect like a mega corporation to be leading the charge type thing, where it's like they see what's coming, so they get ahead of it for the switch, so it doesn't catch them off guard.
I see. You think like all of their industrial vehicles and their infrastructure will be like electric EV?
Yeah, that's what I'd expect if the government was truly trying to rule out, like, get rid of gas vehicles, and I would expect all the big corporation owners to be aware of this.
I feel like operating a gas vehicle is going to be like some kind of crazy wealthy privilege in the future, where like you'll never touch a steering wheel in the future. Your foot will never hit a gas pedal. You'll just be on these autonomous self-driving cattle cars. But if you're like rich, you get like, an actual car from the 90s that uses gasoline, and you'll get to drive it on your private property.
Donald Trump said he has never driven a car in his life, I think. Damn, this sort of sucks.
Yeah, where you at?
I think Donald Trump said he never drove a car in his life.
There you go. Nice and clear. Never in his life? I don't believe that. I think he said he's never done drugs in his life, which I also have trouble believing.
Never drank alcohol.
The AI ain't saving him at all, really. Maybe it's just not smart enough yet.
You guys hear my argument earlier today that everyone denies things and that's an absolute truth? Were you guys here for that?
Yeah, I heard it.
Well,
I really like that one. I'm going to use that more.
If there's logical binaries, then to accept one thing is to deny another.
Yep.
And thus, yeah. Was that your argument, or?
Essentially, you ask someone if they deny things, and either answer forces a yes, like yes or no, do you deny things? And then you ask if that's universally true. Does everyone deny things? So, like, if you choose to walk in one direction, you're choosing not to walk in another direction. You're denying the other direction. So any and all consciousness is denying things.
How
Nice.
does choosing become denying?
Yeah, it's like if I choose to breathe, I'm choosing to not breathe. I'm denying
No,
not breathing.
that's not even.
Here comes in
sense.
pure rigor to argue for the sake of arguing.
No, I'm saying it doesn't make sense. You say I chose the positive, therefore I denied the negative.
Because you're not an
If I
atheist.
choose to look at my computer monitor, I'm denying looking at anything else.
No,
If I walk to the,
you're
if I
not
move to
looking
the,
at anything else.
Wait, what if the reflection in your computer monitor is the things behind you? Uh-oh.
You're turning a positive into a negative with the wording. Is what doesn't make sense to me.
No, it's like denying is the exclusion or negation of what is not the case. So like, denial is like a necessary counterpart of affirmation. It's not, denial isn't the not built into any is. It's just that non-identity of like an alternative. So it's the exclusion of all that a thing is not. So like if I say this is a circle, I'm denying that it is a square, a triangle, right?
facts.
No, like that's what I'm saying.
Facts.
That's just inferred.
Yeah. No,
Like,
it's presupposed.
you're saying the positive. I don't even know where you're going with that. It just sounds like sophistry at this point.
Well, it's not sophistry. It's just stating something that's not profound. Like it's true.
The
But
refutation against it is a refutation against the law of non-contradiction.
You're making an argument for ignorance here.
No, it's
pure-
not. It's
no,
like the wordsmithing you're using. It's like you chose the positive. All right, you
Here,
didn't
you
choose
have the
negative.
same issue with it that everybody else had with it this morning. Don't worry about it. It's a nonsense way to define and deny. It's just sophistry. You're right.
No, it's not a nonsense.
You have a
way of
logical
denying it.
binary.
It's not sophistry. Well, I don't know why you guys are insulting me. I'm not being a sophist, and I'm not spouting nonsense. What I'm saying is denial is the exclusion or negation of what is not the case. So if it's the exclusion or negation, it is an act in and of itself. That's not a negation of an act. It's an act.
Does it mean
Sure,
you're
that definition of denial is that the definition of denial is opposite of the colloquial one. So that's fine.
Wait, are you in denial,
No, it's
Cooper?
not. Yo, how is this? How is this? How is this?
Denying is usually reused for rejecting a true thing or person or object.
Yeah, are you in denial?
No.
If you
oh, so you're in denial about being in denial. Okay.
I guess you got me. Sophistry.
Yeah, so the exclusion or negation of what is not the case. So you're saying that is not the case, and you're doing that with exclusion
That's
or
fine.
negation.
That's cool. You win. I surrender. You got it. Good job.
Okay.
No, it's not sophistry.
Me to say that. So anyway, if I say this is a circle, that's denying that it's anything but a circle, like a square or a triangle, etc.
The fact that this is even argued is fucking retarded. It's just a basic simple truth.
The law of non-contradiction. That's the ridiculous part.
What do you mean?
Again.
So you're saying you're siding with the law of non-contradiction. Anyone going against it is going against the law of non-contradiction. I would agree. This is just a basic. This is basic logic. It's not even profound. For anyone to really reject it is. I mean, we can just list it. We can just list it. Yes, it is.
Completely basic
yes,
logic.
It literally is. It is
Elementary, like fifth grade logic.
It's literally fundamental. It is literally fundamental, basic 101 logic. And the fact that
all right.
shows that you're a fool, bro.
I said it was an argument from ignorance.
It's monologue to insult, bro. Holy shit.
Sorry, I would have done closer if I didn't get clipped. So
when somebody rebuttals like, well, it doesn't make sense. I don't understand it.
I was just saying,
don't
LeBron
comprehend
debate slams again. Cooper, wait,
it's not even a debate.
Hold on, Tori, can you hear Lion? Hold on, guys. Can you hear Lion? He was in the middle of talking, guys.
My mic's pretty low right now.
He's muted. Oh, I have him muted.
Yeah, Lion's talking right now.
No, I just want to say, just to clarify, because I made a mistake. So I called Rigger's response an argument from ignorance. It's not an argument from ignorance or appeal to ignorance. It's actually an argument to incredulity. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people do this, right? They'll say, well, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. I can't comprehend it. Therefore, they dismiss it.
Another long-winded
insult. That's not a rebuttal, dude. Just because you don't understand it or it doesn't make sense to you doesn't mean that it's not valid or true.
Rebuttal. I said you made a choice, right? You did not choose to reject something. You chose to to look a certain way. It doesn't mean you chose to not look a certain way. It's like you just made a positive choice. You guys are turning that positive into a negative. You're saying it's a negative thing.
Can I ask you something?
Turning to the right is choosing not to turn to the left. It's a logical binary. It's a logical binary. I do that. I do think. I'm actually really impressed by the stupidity of this chat.
Let me give you an example.
That's crazy.
Right, to what I'm saying. You have a square and a circle. You can only pick one.
I always knew pure rigor was stupid.
Dude, get over yourself, bro. Like, are you still hung up about getting blown out in the fucking Zeno's paradox?
Do we have to
what?
Can I just try to explain what I mean?
You have a square and a circle,
what?
right? If you choose the circle, that does not mean you rejected the square. It means you chose
yes, it does.
the circle.
Yeah, it means
no, that's you rewording it.
Yeah.
It's literally means you
literally is A, right? I'm excluding this thing is not A.
He doesn't understand logical implication. That's the problem.
No, don't say that. He does. I mean,
no, because you have a moment. Like, no,
if you did understand it, you would instantly understand.
No, shut the fuck up with your insults. You're just muddying the chat. You have a circle and
you're muddying the chat with your
retarded
fucking thing,
right? All right, another ad hom. Thanks. So you have a circle and a square. You have a snapshot in time, a moment to pick. You have a choice to pick, and you're saying, in the moment I chose something positive, I actually chose something negative.
They were both the same action.
It's just a consequence of your action of choosing.
Yeah, it's called a logical implication. There you go. Now you learn the first thing is that things are implied.
It's not rejection. Exactly.
Your rejection of this. You're picking the circle logically implies that you rejected the square.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's the whole point, you dumb idiot.
If we state P is true,
the way you're wording it is to say you're actually denying.
Dude, Noah, can I ask you a question? Hold on. Are you unable to not insult people, or are you doing it on purpose?
No, this is actually an idiotic argument. It is literally arguing over if a rock is real or not. It is literally the most idiotic thing I've heard yet today.
All right, but you're just
probably this week.
In here, you're insulting people. I'm just asking, are you unable? Like, you don't have the self-control, or is it your choice to insult people? Because every time you do it, it derails everything, and it just creates endless dramas. Where now he's going to defend himself, he's going to insult you back. It picks up tomorrow, it picks up the next day. It just completely ruins the conversation.
I think talking about this is completely ruined conversation, but I'll try
to
fuck
up.
I'll try to limit the insults.
But
actually, the insults that I use are nothing compared to what people say to me, dude. So
I predict a complete failure of Noah to resist the urge to insult.
Well, that's you insulting me, Finky. So
nope, I'm just making a prediction.
Yeah, like passive aggressive attacks is still a form of attack, buddy.
Well, it's just like when you do it, there's a few options. Either a mod has to jump in and be like, please don't insult over and over nonstop every day. Number two, we just mute you or time you out. We could do that, but then that's a bit more strict, and then you're out of the combo. Or number 3, you just do it all day, and every day it turns into a dumpster fire of insults and chaos, and every conversation gets derailed.
Yeah, I don't actually think that's the case, dude. Like, this idiotic combo could just end.
Then just don't. If you don't like it, just don't get in the middle of it. Don't have it. Nobody's asking you, hey, please, Noah, what is your input? What is your opinion on this?
Wait, nobody asked you your input. You just thought to hop in and give it. So for you, I volunteered mine, dude. It's an idiotic argument.
Yeah, I think
I wanted to
engage
partake
in
in
the
it.
idea.
You don't, but yet you won't.
I literally partook in the conversation and demolished you because your argument is idiotic.
It's not about demolishing anybody.
Don't you love your meta?
Anything. It's about engaging an idea. So, you know, if I make the claim, like affirming something is simultaneously denying its contradiction. So if I say this is A, I'm denying this is
in that
not
sense.
A.
Yeah, in that sense, yeah. But the way you
Yes,
worded it earlier, like I chose something, right? So therefore, like I denied this other thing.
Yeah, you would be.
Yeah, that's the logical implication.
So choosing something is also choosing not other thing. Correct.
Yeah, but that's only.
It's only if they're mutually exclusive things.
It's only if there's a binary. Like if someone said, "Do you, okay, somebody said like, do you want chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream?" And you just said, "I want chocolate." That you just prefer chocolate. It doesn't really mean you're necessarily denying vanilla. You're just choosing chocolate. On the other hand, if somebody gave you more of an ultimatum, like a 50-50, then you would be denying one to choose the other. So it just depends on whether
I would
it's
say
like
any affirmation of a thing is saying not the other thing. So, for
not
example,
necessarily. It's just saying you want that thing. It doesn't necessarily have to deny it, unless there's a binary that you have to deny to choose one or the other.
Yeah, so if they're saying, do you want chocolate ice cream exclusively, or do you want vanilla ice cream exclusively? To choose one excludes the other. Yeah.
But it's only if it's an exclusive decision. Yeah, if it's just which one you're picking, then you're just choosing it because you just want that one.
Well,
Like you might love vanilla and chocolate. You might love vanilla and chocolate, but you just want chocolate right now. It doesn't mean you're denying like that you like vanilla as well. You're just not choosing it for the moment. You're just picking.
You'd be excluding chocolate, or you'd be excluding vanilla right now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just another way of saying. It's just a way of saying if you affirm something, you negate the thing that's the negation of the thing that you affirmed. It's like
I've excluded middle. Got it. He did it. He said
it. Yeah, Finky. It's very simple, basic logic. It's not even profound, and the fact that people are arguing it is, I don't know. It's a bad state here.
I don't think the terms are necessarily defined. He says, I mean, if that what I just said, that is the thing that you're denying, but it depends on those two things being mutually exclusive. The only time they are always mutually exclusive is when the thing you're denying is simply the negation of the thing that you're affirming.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. The argument is about denial. You can either be in denial or not. There's no other option.
Yes, like someone can be in denial or not, which would mean they're in denial about being in denial.
Well, like okay, you say pick red, yellow, or blue.
Do you agree that someone can be in denial or they can be denying that they're in denial?
I don't know, but let's say if you pick, I'll answer in a second. I gotta think about it though. But if you say pick red, yellow, or blue, somebody says, and then somebody says I pick blue, they're rejecting the not blue. And it's just a way. It's just inverse logic.
Which would be red and yellow. Which would be red.
The irony is that this is actually the same. It's the same conversation that you guys got on me earlier, asking if what God does is good. It's the same thing. It's the same form of the argument.
That's right.
This is why words have meaning. Because when I say apple pie necessarily the word excludes airplane. So when I say apple pie, you imagine a picture of an apple pie. You don't imagine an airplane or Jupiter or I don't know an icicle. You imagine apple pie. So to define something, you necessarily have to limit it to all the things that it's not. This is just basic. Like this is below toddler. This is like below toddler level.
Okay, let me go on that. I agree. Let me go on that. Let's say I come to you and I say, Noah, do you want apple pie? And you say yes. You're denying eating an airplane. You're denying eating Jupiter. You're denying eating everything possible that you could possibly try to eat except the apple pie. That's my point. And it's kind of like a silly argument.
Yeah, it's not profound. It's very basic, rudimentary, preschool. Like when you first learn words and shit and you're a 5-year-old or a 2-year-old or whatever, this is what a 2-year-old understands and how they're able to speak languages.
He's dumbing it down for you.
Except for when you mislead and say deny and negate, because those words have implications within themselves.
Well,
like
when I was bringing up
the
the argument, I define deny.
If you're going to say I chose the circle, therefore I deny the square, it's like, oh, so you deny the existence of squares? The fuck does that even mean?
No, you're just.
What I mean? Like
if you were to choose
you say
one,
like it's just you didn't choose it.
If you're given a choice, choose between A or B. By choosing A, you're excluding B.
Yeah, okay. And when you word it like that, nobody has a problem with it. When you throw in all the extra shit with it, that's when the problem arises because you're trying to say I deny.
That's how I defined it.
You chose this, therefore you deny that.
Yeah, that's how I did word it.
You chose this, therefore all that's negated. It's like those.
I think we kind of got into the weeds
implications.
There was some like back and forth, but that is how I worded it. To deny something is simply to exclude something, reject it, or say not this. Even like affirmation.
Yeah, I don't know, Gio. I stand behind what I said.
All right, well, you still run into the same hole with the word deny.
Yeah, let's say I choose a cookie. What did I deny?
You excluded not cookie.
Yeah, you have a cookie. You have a cookie. It's not like
Well,
you
there you
don't
go.
have a cookie.
You didn't say what you denied.
Yeah,
It's like,
the
what does that mean,
non-cookie.
denied?
Not cookie.
Yeah, you said you switched to excluded though. You didn't want to use
Either way,
denied.
it doesn't matter the word. I'm using them interchangeably. I could say he denied not cookie.
Yeah, but I gave you the example with the circle and the
This
square.
is a deep argument.
Yeah, and I
Here-
showed you
here's
how
the circle.
in that
You chose the
example, if
circle.
you
Do you-
choose
do you
one,
deny the square?
you deny the other one.
Do you
Not the
deny-
existence
do you
of
deny
it.
the
I think
existence
that's
of
not the
square?
first one.
Not
That's
the
where that
existence,
goes.
Trigger, not the existence of the square, but like the choice. When you like, they're like, hey, you want a circle or a square?
deny the
and
choice.
you say your circle. Yeah, now at that point, you're not getting the square. It's not like squares just went out of existence or anything like that.
How do you deny the
Yeah,
choice?
but you're also
though?
denying. You're also denying
Deny
a
what?
triangle.
There was a choice
You're also
in the first place?
denying a moon. You're denying.
Gio, I
a
fully stand
computer,
for
you're
Denying
denying
not
everything.
circle, right?
No, Gio, I mean, some of the times my insults are unfounded, but this being
Oh, here we
idiotic
go
as
again.
fuck is well founded, dude.
Yeah, but calling something idiotic versus calling the person an idiot is different. So if you call
Yeah,
it
you're right. You're right, Gio. You're right. I shouldn't have called him an idiot. But this argument that
Cooper's
Pure Rigor's
seeming like a
engaging in
genius
is
right now.
absolutely idiotic.
Dude,
But yeah, I'm sorry for calling Pure Rigor an idiot. He's not a
Oh,
complete
shut the fuck
idiot.
up.
But this
Well, I mean, dude,
argument
the thing is, like, we
fucking
don't
retarded.
we don't mod for it to like necessarily like for like people's feelings to be hurt. Although it does hurt people's feelings to insult them, but that's not really why we mod for it. We mod for it because it derails the conversations of getting the truth. So it's actually more in protection of the truth. Because if we're getting the truth and we're really good, and then someone throws an insult, the next 20 minutes are probably going to be those two people just insulting each other back and forth, going off the rails, interrupting, going chaotic. So it literally just distracts from actually getting to the truth. That's the biggest reason we mod for it.
He wasn't even trying to really
You're
authentically
right.
apologize anyway. He was just using that as a ramp so that he could hook another
All
insult.
right.
in. That's really what
No,
happened.
not really.
That's what he does.
Yeah,
He
I'm
goes
gonna
from
try
edit
to
to
blah
insult.
blah blah blah. Okay, yeah.
Yo, since real quick, can I get in? Yo, since you guys are all apologizing, I apologize to lately. I've been calling him a dumb fuck, face fuck, all this other stuff, and we really need to
I
work on it.
I apologize for constantly causing shit shows to Geo specifically. Sorry, bro. I'm actually been trying. You can ask Jeremy. I've been
Not all the listeners out there in Listenerland. Not all the
Not you,
listeners.
not
think
you,
that they
bro.
like listening to
You're-
you and your shit show bullshit every fucking day.
testing me
You
right
think they
now.
like that?
You
guys
testing
go
me
bringing
is
them in?
exactly.
Is that what
You
you think?
testing me right now is the exact thing that you were mad at me for doing. So you're a hypocrite.
Oh, I think it's time right now.
Oh man,
I apologize earlier
All the
for chuckling under my breath when Noah said that most slaves that were freed ended up owning slaves. That was rude.
I can concede that might not have been true, but also I'm not going to trust your AI, so I'm just going to go with a might as a concession.
You can see there was black owner slaves.
Yep, 3,376 of them.
Out of what 100,000, right?
Yeah, in the South.
That's actually that's a way higher rate of slave owner than white guys, though. Like astronomically higher.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. I'll look it up.
I apologize to Pinky for calling him Sfinky.
I didn't even hear it. Dang it. I don't get. You guys can insult me. I grew up with a lot of brothers, so insults are like. It's just part of the game.
I apologize.
I take them as
to Snacks for hurting his feelings so much.
You know what's
I apologize to Noah for trying to sun him so often.
Well, just let's just take a minute and think about the fact that Gio, I've listened to him for years. I've never heard him insult anybody. That's fucking and the amount of people that come here just to test people's patience. And I've listened to Gio being flustered a little bit, but that's it. That's it. That's pretty impressive. Although I suppose
Gio does a good job.
Eden's never insulted anybody either. I don't know.
Some people do. Yeah, well, some people do. Some people don't. I've thought of some other people that never have. I don't think I ever have in all of my time on all of Discord, even back before the server on other servers. But I've gotten flustered. I've gotten flustered at times.
Yeah, I remember Dora. Remember that Dora? He had the PFP of Dora. So his name was like Dora something or other, and he just kept clipping you all the time. And I was getting pissed. Like I wasn't even talking to him. And after about 10 interruptions, you were certainly flustered, but you dealt with it really well.
Dude, I get secondhand annoyed when people interrupt Gio because he yields like 99% of the time to let them interrupt him. He's so polite about it. So I get secondhand annoyed because I think people take advantage of it.
Witset's done that too. There've been times where Witset's like modded for me and he said a similar thing. He's like, Gio always pulls back, and then he felt he has to like he's jumped into the mod a few times, like for me basically because of that. Well, yeah, I just I don't ever want. I try to avoid any audio chaos, and I do try to like listen very quickly and pull back so as much as I can. But then other times, sometimes you do gotta kind of grab the mic.
And you've got a brother as well, right? You got a brother, Gio.
I have two brothers and one sister.
Holy! I mean, you must have done all the rough and tumble and insults when you were a kid, right?
Yeah. Well, somewhat. Well, we definitely. I would fight with my younger brother. Yeah, like physically fight and stuff. And yeah, some of the insult stuff back then. Yeah.
Bro, I used to fight my cousin who was like 5 years older than me, and then he got the growth spurt like before I did, and he used to beat the fuck out of me. But then I got the growth spurt caught up, and then I've been dominating ever since.
I think we all grew up with a lot of that. The name calling, fighting, parents fighting, kids fighting. And I guess some people either kind of grew out of it, some people still do it as an adult, because a lot of kids have that. Yeah, that's like a major in our culture today.
But I remember the first time after he got his growth spurt, we got into a fight and he punched me in the stomach and he knocked the wind out of me, bro. That was the end of the fight right there.
I don't think anybody wants to hear you blog.
All right, saltiness, whatever.
Oh, you don't like it? You don't like when people fuck with you?
You're
Oh,
just
come on,
You're just
Noah.
salty, dude.
No, I'm just taking jabs.
My intention is honestly
You do
never
jabs,
to
now
troll
you're getting
people.
them back.
Yeah, I don't come on and open my mic just to troll people. So.
And you're saying I do? Is that what you're trying to
I
imply?
don't know.
You were literally just trying to just troll me.
That's not trolling. It's called taking a jab. You threw jabs and I threw them back.
No. My arguments is for the
You know what the
argument's
word
sake.
troll
Like when you're making an
means.
idiotic argument, I call it idiotic for the argument's sake. Not because I have some sort of personal vendetta against you, like you and Snacks have against me.
Yeah.
Although
yeah,
your vendetta,
okay.
your vendetta
So
is
you
new.
can't
It just
understand.
started
You
today.
could not follow the argument, so you lash out and insult me. Okay.
No. I followed the argument and it was idiotic.
Dude, I
I'd say go with option B, Gio.
I don't call your argument idiotic because I have a personal vendetta against you. It's because I truly believe that it's idiotic.
All right. What was my argument?
Your argument was that you're basically saying to deny something like it's a double negative, that you're denying the denial, so it's not a denial.
Nope. Not even fucking close. Nice try, though.
Dude, your argument was idiotic. It was literally going against the
You don't
identity
even know what it
principle and
is.
logic.
You don't even know what my fucking argument is.
You can't
Also,
listen.
by the way, Rigger was actually right. At the
Oh,
end of the
shit.
day.
Really?
I'm not in full vendetta mode either. I'm just playing around.
Yes,
It's okay.
you're not in full, but you are. You.
No, I'm not going hard
You
on
just,
you. Dude, well,
you
no,
say
I
you
wanna-
say shit that
I'm
I know
sorry
you've
said
been
it that way.
salty at
It
me
was
for like
I-
you've been
I'm glad
salty
you
at me
were
for
talking,
months
actually.
for something.
Thank you for that. I thank you. For
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yes, you're trolling me. Yeah, and you've been salty at me for months for some shit that happened probably like a year ago.
You are always pushing out this crazy energy, and sometimes I'm like I'm gonna karate chop that shit. So go figure. Or whatever.
Yeah, so you don't like my energy.
Cool about
You don't like my energy. That's your problem. But the thing is, for the most part, I come
Some
here to
days
make
they do.
arguments.
Some days it's cool, dude. It's not all the time. I'm just saying. Some days I'm just like, man, this doesn't need to be grinding like this. And no one can beat you, Noah. No one can stop you. You're like the Jupiter Juggernaut at a Marvel, bro. No one can stop you.
If there's anyone that can put you in your place, it's Snacks, dude. And you gotta just
I've
allow
been
it.
beaten.
You know?
I've been beaten, bro. All the arguments in which I've been beaten, I've actually taken the opposite stance and now I've changed my opinions.
Snacks is a regulator.
If I convince by an argument, I will literally concede and change my opinion. It's happened multiple times.
Do you think it's possible to deny something that's true?
Yeah, people do it all the time.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if you guys think such thing as proof exists, or is there just such thing as evidences?
Proof depends on the standard of proof that you set. Evidence is just evidence.
Well, if you use the definition of proof as is to establish something as true, then if there is truth, then there is proof. Proof is the thing that establishes said thing as true.
Thank you. Yeah, that's how I understand it as well. So if someone says there is no absolute truth, I think at that point there is no proof of anything, right?
Oh, Kraken one.
That was a state side. Oh, White Claw. I mean,
Wait, Ben, you open your mic. Bless us with your voice.
At least hot mic. At least say something at hot mic. Since you're already talking.
Ben, come on. Now's your chance.
Is he just
He's
joking?
typing furiously.
Computer typing, dude. That's his voice.
That's his voice. He cracked a beer and is typing. Can you hear us? Bendy Method, can you hear us? Well,
probably hit the Discord hotkey.
Well, I don't know if he intends for his mic to be on if he can't hear us, though. I don't want to.
Now he's playing guitar.
He's rocking a tune.
Nice, let's go.
Is this eavesdropping if he starts singing and we're just listening to him?
A little bit.
I think it's okay. I think we can let it slide.
He's playing
Is that
a
a live
song.
guitar?
Yeah,
Seems like he's like legitimately good at guitar.
That was either recording or live guitar. That was very clean sounding. I think that sounded like a recording, maybe.
Beautiful. That was beautiful too.
And he's burping.
That was the first sip of that Coors Light.
This is just eavesdropping at this point.
Taking the hot mic. This is bad.
Yo, someone turn his camera on for him.
That sounds live.
Yeah, dude, he's good.
That's fire. Can we just eat that?
So.
Just have that as like a background sound.
Yo, I wonder if we could do that. Get like a little. Oh, that was the first sip of that Coors Light.
This is just eavesdropping at this point.
Cleaning the hot mic. This is bad.
Yo, someone turn his camera on for him.
That sounds live.
Yeah, dude, he's good.
That's fire. Can we
He
just
just
eat
mocked
that?
these though.
Just have that as like a background sound.
Yo, I wonder if we could do that. Get like a little.
Is holding you now. What can I do to change your mind?
That's fire.
Letting you go was so hard to do. But as time passes by, I still remember you. We touched the sky until morning. One of those finer days, we loved the sun in the morning, and everything was right.
I got my lighter lit.
Yeah, I was
and
wrong.
everything.
It's not Brenda.
Good job, buddy.
Wow.
That's like some heartbreak shit.
Dude, Bendy, can you hear us? I guess he can't hear us. His mic popped on and he can't hear us.
He doesn't talk. He doesn't talk.
Dude, that was beautiful. That was amazing.
So he's obviously not listening and never is listening, possibly.
But he claims he only talked to one person, and that was in a private call. That's his claim. I accused him of being Brenda once.
Somebody else is holding you now, safe in the night, holding you.
Well, that's nice.
You got talent, brother. You got talent. I apologize for calling you Brenda.
He doesn't know that we can hear him, Messi.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
I think
knows.
he can hear
Trust
us.
me.
Oh, we're still gonna let him hot mic?
No, I
Right,
say we
just
leave
let
it
him
on,
talk.
honestly. I say let's leave it on. I want to hear more of this music.
Yeah, but until he starts saying some shit, it's probably not appropriate for us to hear.
Yeah, he might actually just have a hot mic and just have like, accidentally made a hit. Who knows?
Well, for a minute, I thought maybe he turned it on to play guitar for us, but I think it's probably a hot mic scenario.
Nah, it's not, bro.
I had that dialed in pretty good on the audio here. That sounded like I was like, is this a recording or what is
I
this?
know. It was really clean. Usually on Discord, you know how it doesn't really translate with like singing and guitar? Like sometimes it's like delayed or clipping in and out. That was like studio quality almost. All right, I'm moving to the hot mic room.
I don't think it was hot micing, bro. I'm telling you.
Well,
That was amazing.
oh,
Thank you, Benji.
Yeah, that was just a nice thing. That was good.
Yeah, I almost forgive him for him freaking out when he first came here, and I don't know, in the DMs he was just going mental at me for some reason, for some type of I don't know what take it was, but he was just clutching his pearls, and I was like, get over yourself or something. I don't know.
Oh, you
Bro, he's been
forgive him,
trolling me
Andy. I
for
know you.
years. He's been trolling me.
I feel like I need to go in my DMs and just go over it, and it was just so like, I don't know. There's a lot of femboys out there these days, guys. I don't know.
Oh, so he did mean to have
different tap than I thought it would.
Oh, so he meant to. He just responded in text. He meant to have his mic on, but he meant to have it on in another server. So he was in the wrong VC. It sounds like.
Oh,
he says sorry for hot micing.
No, well, tell him thank you. I mean, we appreciated it. It was great.
Dude, yeah. See, I mean, he's not in here now, but yeah, I mean, he has been trolling hard in the text chat for years.
Really
big time,
hard trolling. And then to hear him just be beautifully singing, people really like. Osco's saying how people are multiple layers, multiple dimensions of people, of humans. Like a very different part of him. I mean, in text chat, he'll do the C lining and just loop you in circles, It'll usually end in insults. Like in text chat.
Oh, yeah.
I saw you checking out text chat. You're like, what the heck? Is it always this one?
Do you know? I think it was a take on the Holocaust probably, and he was like, proper freaking out as these people tend to do, and I was just explaining to him, look, I know it's a horrific subject, but I want to get to the truth of it, and it's not because I hate Jews or I hate anyone, and I hope he's come round to that realization that I'm not a hateful person at all, and this has been weaponized. And if you can't see that, I don't know how to explain it to you, but he's clearly has.
A lot of people take that you're going against their idea as hate. It happens a lot to me. Yeah.
Well, truth it seems to have become a hate all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, bro.
If you tell the truth, you will get crucified.
It's all pretty insidious how ideas can creep into what you think is true, but they're not, and then you're like I'm gonna champion that false shit that I believe in. That's awesome.
Speaking of just somebody playing the guitar, did anybody see Made by Jim Bob a couple of weeks ago, whatever it was? I'll post it in the chat. It's really good. Little nod to the I don't know even what to call it, like a feminist little ditty. It's like a minute long. You should watch it. It's really good.
Yeah,
I like Jim Bob.
Feminism has destroyed our civilization. I was trying to get that across to some ladies in the text chat, but they just don't get it. They think that feminism is only about women's rights. It's not. It's they squirreled that in, and we got the woke movement now and breaking up the family and all that, but people don't want to hear it. It's like feminism is like a psyop.
They've got to define it for you, Essie, because I think sometimes that's what's happening, because I 100% love femininity, right? Like the concept of the feminine woman and, the role in society and all that stuff. It's beautiful. But feminism is like this, like weaponized version of it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. It's like they weaponized it. It's like they turned women into men haters. It's crazy.
Honestly, watch that song. It's only a minute. It's only a minute long. It goes past really quick, and it's like, oh, it's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It really sums up the sort of state of feminism. It really does.
Yeah, but there's always different layers and levels to these things. Like even with feminism, there is a side of it of women standing up for their rights, and they have been sort of downgraded to less than the man in some
areas of life. You know, like on a human rights level. I mean,
absolutely.
obviously, yeah.
Yes, yes.
There's a John Lennon song that goes,
yeah, woman is the nigger of the world. I'm a huge John Lennon fan. I was coming from that part of that side of the argument because as a younger man, I've said it a million times. My dad died when I was young. I was raised by a strong woman. I was all about this idea of equality until I realized that there's a sort of insidious nature to it that's not what it seems.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as equality, right? A woman and a man are not equal. They're designed that way. They have equal rights, of course.
Well, they're not the same. That's the
yeah.
They're not the same. That's what needs to be said, and that's what they're trying to equal everyone out. And it's like, no, the distinctive differences should meet each other and be one sort of thing and complement each other as weaknesses, basically.
That's the word, bro. Complement. Exactly.
Well, they were equal in like humanity, but outside of that equivalence, really no two men are equal. So how is something that is so drastically morphological from a man when no two men are equal? How is that all of a sudden everyone's equal in that? It just doesn't make sense. Feminism is literally just tricking women to think that they're fighting the man, when actually they're fighting for the man and actually destroying their family.
Right. And another thing, like in the majority of the world, women they're not equal. They don't have equal rights. And I try to tell them the reason why Western women have equal rights is because of the men, and they get triggered like high hell. It's us, the men, that enforce the laws, right? That have given them equal rights. We have agreed. We said, yes, you have equal rights. In the majority of the world, they're considered second-class citizens.
Yeah,
and
so who did that, though?
Sorry?
But it was the men that did that, though. The men took away their rights in the first place. Some men did, and then other men tried to get them back. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
it was men who made them second-class citizens. That's why they get triggered. Because if you're going to say the men gave it to you, they're going to have that feeling of like, well, no, the men took them away in the first place, and now you're just so nice to give them back. You know, XYZ. That kind of vibe is why they get activated. I think sometimes when that's brought up.
But Gio, they never had those rights to begin with.
There were some women that fought against women's suffrage as well. So that's not like equality in a sense. Like I think a lot of women recognize they're not equal in like the might sense, in like the strongness sense. But I think that we put them above us so that way, we become the second class citizen. Because I think that what we do is we're trying to protect them. Like the draft is a duty of man that doesn't go to women, which is a good thing. You know what I mean? So it's like to say equality across the board is a little difficult as well, because we're just different, but we complement each other in a beautiful way.
Yeah, but going to Gio's point, right? Women never had equal rights to men. Unfortunately, the way Mother Nature had it, right? It's the strongest that survived. So women never had really equal rights. It was men that had to protect them from other men. See what I'm saying? Think about it. In the old days, in the hunter-gatherer things, right? The women had no rights.
Yeah. According to what I believe, their desire is for their husband, and he will rule over her.
No, but it's human nature. It's the strong that take over the weak. Even that's why we have police. That's why, we have armies and stuff. It's always human nature. The strong always try to overpower the weak. And just so happens that men are stronger than women. I mean, it's not our fault. So women never had rights until men gave it to them. I mean, that's a fact.
Why would that be the case? I mean, I guess now you have to go off of history or some kind of idea. Why would women have not had rights in the first place?
Because nobody had rights. So
some controllers
Dude,
came
you know-
in and built this society with certain foundations that seem to have women not have the rights men had. Seems like it's engineered.
Forbidden fruit.
Okay, forget about women, right? Maybe you'll understand it this way. Men, right? Strong men have always had their will and taken stuff away from other weaker men, right? Right?
I don't necessarily agree with that idea that always in history that was the case. No, I don't think so. I think that has been a thing in some areas, though. I don't think that's just universal at all. No, I think people had lived for thousands of years on this earth together in complete harmony, and nobody was dominating and raping and stealing stuff from others.
Yeah, I know you have that point of view, Gio, but I don't see any proof of it. Like maybe it was that way, but I don't see. I haven't seen any society that was like that.
All right, but that is a separate discussion. But let's just say for a minute, like we used to just be hunter and gatherer, living in caves and all that. At some point, this society came to what it is now. So I know it wasn't overnight, but even if we take somewhat the mainstream history stories, so whenever we transition from individual hunter and gatherers into some sort of a society, quote unquote, that we have things like voting and money and so on. Who in the first place didn't say, of course, men and women should both have equal rights? Who in the first place said, no, these women do not get these rights at all. We're going to suppress them. They're beneath us, etc. Now, I know we could bring in some of the religious philosophies that have probably driven that, but who did that in the first place? To then have it go for decades and decades. Yeah, men, that's what I was saying originally. And then
the powerful. Well, you're making my point.
Until we changed that or whatever, until the women either spoke up or whatever happened, that more awareness is brought to it. Like, wait, why are we doing this to women?
Place the hierarchy, though, in the beginning of your sentence. You said hunter, gatherer. That's a hierarchy right there. So it was probably the case that men were going out hunting, women were going out gathering, and then that just continued on that way. And they were probably comfortable with it, men were comfortable with it, Isn't that a hierarchy, hunter-gatherer?
Yeah, like who would hunt, Gio? Who would hunt?
No, not necessarily. I mean, just because you put the word first, you could say gatherer and hunter. I mean, does anyone saying the hunter is above the gatherer?
I mean,
Gatherer's first,
the hunter is usually going to be the stronger. You could die trying to hunt a boar. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's like that the whole society, like that there are people that like hang back and do the gathering and farming and stuff like that. There are hunters that like leave the village and go on a hunt.
Look, traditionally, whether we like it or not, men went out hunting and women took care of the children and gathered. That's how nature made it. Now,
I don't think
that's the way it is.
That's not accurate.
What do you mean it's not accurate?
It's well, I mean, it's a classical trait of your statements, but I mean, it's not accurate. That's all.
Or you just think you can just say it like that and so the women were
Hey,
going
listen,
out.
we just got to admit that SC Montreal is often wrong. Can we just get past that? Okay, thanks.
Bro, you're such a hateful troll, bro. Like you're like a little girl, man.
I'm
Cut it out,
just
bro.
trying to set
grow
the
up.
balance. That's all.
Grow up. Every time I talk, you do the same thing. Please grow up.
The only thing I worry about with the idea that we were hunter-gatherers and this and that, it kind of takes a little bit of the evolution worldview in order to justify that position. That's the part that I get confused about.
Nah, bro, we just got more technologically advanced. Because I remember when we didn't have computers, and now we have computers. You know what I'm saying? There was a time where there was no internet. Like Gio said, somebody came along, invented money, all the stuff at one point.
Yeah, but what did the time before humans look like?
I mean, yeah, if you go back that far, then yeah, but just that thing we're talking about doesn't really involve evolution. It sounds like it, but it doesn't have to. We just got more advanced.
So we basically got created as cavemen, which is fine. I'm okay with that, but not in the same sense as evolution puts like that. We were knuckle dragging still, right? Or were we knuckle draggers?
Look, Mother Nature gave women the ability to have children, right? Can we at least agree on that one?
If you call that God, yeah.
Okay, God. So it comes to, I mean, it's natural that women would take care of the children. It's their responsibility. I mean, why is that such a crazy idea? Like the women would take care of the children and men would go out hunting because of their strength.
Well, the men should also help with taking care of the children for sure, right? You got to be the role model and that stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the father would take the son, teach him how to use the boat, teach him how to hunt. Mom would take the daughter, teach her how to cook, teach her how to take care of the little sister. I mean, why is that like such a hard thing? That's why I'm against feminism. It's like nature got reversed for some reason.
Well, I actually think feminism was propagated by the Illuminati to break up the nuclear families, to make sure the kids aren't being raised correctly. You want more people out there working and paying taxes and not having time to ponder about what they may be doing to us. There's so many reasons why you would want moms to go into the workplace. It's not even crazy. You know what I'm saying? And give them equal rights and mess us all up.
So yeah,
having equal rights is messing us up. But
well, like a right to vote doesn't make a lot of sense because if you're married to a man, right, and then he has the vote, he goes and votes. It's like, what do we give them the right to vote to negate the man's vote? Then it's like those two just went there for no reason, you know?
Yeah, it's become like
I don't have no problem with the right to. I think having the right to vote for a woman is, I mean, that's fine, whatever. She's watching politics, paying attention. She wants to put her 2 cents in.
Hey, your wife votes the exact opposite direction of you. Why would you guys even go to the poll? You guys negated each other, you know?
I mean, you could say that, yeah. I mean, you could do that with any 2 people. What if my brother votes against the way I vote? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why I believe it should just be landowners.
Actually, if you get
Yeah, but if it was just landowners, wouldn't they be biased towards people who own land now? And now you have all the people that don't own land, and it can make it way harder to own land. Like, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, well, you want for the people that are landowning rather than like some dude that's leasing an apartment for a year that's going to move to Germany next year and stick you with a president for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I could see why they had that stipulation. Like, you had to own land, you know? Can't just have some vagrants out here that are going to, you know, come in and leave, vote, so stuff like that.
It's dangerous territory, bro, because now you got only the wealthy people who owns houses. You're likely to be more wealthy if you own a house. You know what I'm saying? So now it's the rich people have a huge sway, and the poor people don't even get a chance. That's going to end bad.
I mean, the problem is that's what who has more at stake. Some of those flow that not really have anything to put for the land. In other words, if I own land, I have more at stake than anybody that doesn't own land.
Yeah, but then if the people who have land are only the ones that can vote, and the guy's like, yo, I'll make sure we all keep our land and get more land, and the peasants will never get to own land, all the landowners are going to be like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, but if you own land, you'd be like, heck yeah, let's do it, right?
Yeah, but that's not fair, though. That's not fair.
By what standard?
By the standard of fairness. If we have an apple, I get half the apple, you get half the apple.
That's communism, bro.
That's fairness. No, that's fairness. You know what that is? That's called resource based. That's resource based right there. If we get a million lobsters, if we both fish, and we catch 2 fish, we should each get 1 fish.
Yeah, except it was my boat and I bought all the gas to get out there. So you owe me a fish.
It's not even that.
Yeah, but that's
so
not
what it is. Like this is what you're saying. Let's say we're 2 people fishing. Fine. You know, we split the cost of the boat. We split the cost of the gas. Now we caught 3 fish. The person that didn't do nothing on shore, he's the one that gets to get the 3rd fish because even though he didn't do anything.
Yeah, but maybe he washed the clothes or he fashioned the net. Like he probably did something. Maybe he's disabled and he can't. Maybe. Was he are they disabled?
He's just at home.
There we got him.
Watching TV.
They're just lazy.
Yep.
Well, we can't let them die. They get a third of a fish. We just gonna let them die? Or we
what we do is we'll fillet the fish, get all the good meat, and then we'll give them the carcass.
Use the American word filet. Please don't let me catch you using those French words, filet. Like, come on, man, just say filet.
Wait, isn't your name Notice Bear? You should go ahead and look up how to say hope in French.
Okay, well.
Espoir. How about this, guys? How about this? Anybody could vote under one condition. You sign a draft notice.
That's already a thing. That's already how it works. But I'd like to direct everyone.
No, it's not.
I'd like to direct everyone's attention to the text chat. This is an explanation of feminism completely and thoroughly.
I just think like many things, they're multi-layered. I think feminism also has multiple different like angles of what it represents for different people. Even like with flat Earth, as it were, like some people are in this to like just like try to like throw arguments and then just like abuse you and ban you, for example. Like there's that idea. There's other people that actually maybe want to like have the discussion and respect other people and like get to truth. So I'm just calling like flat earther, for example, even with that, there's a bunch of different people in this for different agendas and different reasons and stuff. So like same with feminism, some people, it's just like it has a light and a dark side. Like I see that meme you just posted and I see what that represents. That is one, I think, component of feminism. But I think there's other parts of it that women are actually like speaking out for something that's true, like an imbalance and like a patriarchal dominance that like violates women's like basic human rights on that level.
I don't think so.
Yeah, like the Muslim system is like that. The way you just said is true. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Some of that stuff is pretty bad. Yeah. With that,
I think
total suppression of women and does like
feminists team up with Muslims against Christians. So like feminism is definitely not about saving the Muslim women. Feminism is literally just about destroying families. Like that's all it is. That's why the rich people paid for it.
Wait, I think that's why you'd have to define what feminism is and then what you're against. Otherwise, yeah, because like I said, femininity is a beautiful thing. You know, so you really want to get
feminism.
towards the point.
Feminism is a set of 4 movements back to back, each one progressing after the other. They call it first wave, second wave, third wave, and fourth wave feminism. That is specifically what feminism is. So you have to look at the movement, look at what the movement does, look at the ideologies it espouses, and look at the impacts of that movement. And really, the servitude of women has not ended. It has just moved from serving her family to serving corporate interests. So the whole thing, it's a pipe dream. Oh, you don't have to serve anyone. No, in this life, you are going to end up serving someone. So it's just how the cookie crumbles. Sorry.
All right, but I'm saying there's different aspects. Like, I mean, this is the Gemini Google AI overview. It says feminism is the belief in the advocacy for social, political, and economic equality of the sexes, aiming to eliminate gender-based oppression and stereotypes. It is an evolving movement focusing on equal rights and opportunities, regardless of gender, sexuality, race, or class, reproductive rights, equal pay, education. I mean, are any of you guys like disagreeing that those things, like the economic, political, social?
Could you read the first sentence out again? Because I caught something there.
Feminism is the belief in the advocacy for social, political, and economic equality of the sexes, aiming to eliminate gender-based oppression and stereotypes.
Okay, let me. Okay, so what they sneak in is they say it's to eliminate oppression, but then they classify motherhood as oppression, which it most certainly is not. It is nature's course for a woman to become a mother, just like it is man's course to become a father. Now, there's rare exceptions, but they have to be very rare exceptions, or else your society literally demographically collapses and is destroyed.
Well, I think one of the issues with that definition is that I've never heard. I've heard quite a few feminist speakers over the years. I've never heard a feminist speaker who advocates that women should also have to sign up for the draft for the right to vote. I've never heard of a feminist speaker saying that males should get more in divorce court. It's usually about like presupposing that women are lesser in every way as far as how society treats them, treats them, like, and then trying to even out the odds. But it's never about like, hey, here's the ways that women are getting extra rights. We need to, get those down. Right now, it's about either diminishing male rights, so that way they're, equal with women, or giving women more rights and then saying, oh, well, still we're not equal. The goalpost kind of moves over the years.
No, it's just identity communism with the identity of the bourgeoisie and the proletariat being males and females. Males are the bourgeoisie, females are proletariat. They promise something to the females that's not even naturally possible. You can't go on this earth, be like that every woman's a queen and nobody is subject to anybody else. It's not possible. So they preach to these people a utopia that is not actually possible. And then they say the steps to getting utopia are X, Y, and Z. When you look into what X, Y, and Z are, X, Y, and Z are just so that rich people can rob your country. So it's literally it's an ideological Trojan horse. Rich men create ideologies so that people destroy their own society, believing that they're building utopia that's not even physically possible in the first place. Thank you so much for not clipping me. That was, you know what, Gio? I'm gonna back out for a bit. Thank you for that, Gio.
So then there is a test to know if you live in a patriarchy or a matriarchy. And we actually live in a matriarchy. And the test is does the father have any say in who his daughter marries? That's how you know that we don't live in a patriarchy anymore.
And then there's some arguments against, like, the feminists will, like, they'll fork themselves against the so-called patriarchy. But, like, let's say that I was to do, like, a reversal of that critique and say, like, okay, so the patriarchy is this thing that oppresses both men and women, and the so-called feminist movement opposes that. Well, what if I say feminism oppresses both men and women in a very specific way? And, in fact, like, there's very few feminists who would ever take the position that there should be limitations on abortion, right? There's very few feminists who would say, like, we shouldn't kill babies in the womb. Very few. And the ones that do, they're not really in the class of, like, feminists. Like, that's a very few minority. But in a sense, abortion oppresses both men and women because it's killing young men, young women at a very high rate. So if I were to, like, flip it, like they say the patriarchy is oppressive, I could say that feminism is oppressive. Because even within the so-called patriarchy, there are people in power who they don't do the bad stuff. Even in feminism, there's people in power who don't do the bad stuff, i.e. killing babies in the womb. So, like, both, you can make an argument, are very oppressive systems.
Yeah, but it's just a fact of nature that someone's going to be subjected to someone else. You may not like it, but that's just like reality. Just like when you drop a stone, it falls to the ground. People are going to arrange themselves into dominance hierarchies or whatever based off proficiency. And to deny this and say, like, oh no, we could just have this la la land, you're just lying to yourself, and you're putting yourself open to foreign people influencing you that don't care about you.
All because of the serpent's ruse. They fell for the forbidden fruit.
Communism always takes the same thing. Promise unrealistic utopia. Tell the people to achieve this utopia, you have to do X, Y, and Z. And X, Y, and Z are literally always enriching a foreign power that's not even part of your government, not even part of your people. It's every single time, every single case.
But not saying femininity
Sounds
is
like
wrong.
a sunken cost. Sounds like a sunken cost fallacy.
That's what the globe is. That's what the globe is. People have sunken the cost of their whole life into believing it, and if they now realize it's wrong, they have to face that sunken cost fallacy. Maybe they'd rather just keep debating it and believing it and pushing it and just hoping it's true.
Well,
and
you
it is
hear
the
it,
mainstream
right?
idea.
They'll say,
So.
if globe's not true, then we have to doubt all of science and all of doctors everywhere all the time, right? It's like a full thing. They say that everything is gone.
Yeah, if the Earth's not a globe, we can't know anything.
Might have to question your gender, your sexuality. You might have to just question everything at that point. Just a joke.
I agree, though. It is a bad deal that people were sold if, like, they think they're doing a good thing and then they get diverted, subverted. They get, like, you're pushing for equality. And it's like, yeah. So, like, why am I doing this thing that oppresses men? I mean, like, there's whole movements about the male loneliness epidemic. And there are some feminists who talk about that and they actually have consideration for that. Like, there's the woman that went undercover as a man for a year. And it was so depressing because she saw how horrible men were treated. She went undercover as a male, and then.
Are you talking about that movie from the 80s where she went to high school?
No, hang on, I'll get your name.
That's Amanda Bynes you're talking about, the one that she played soccer.
It's a woman named Nora Vincent.
So, like, man is made in the image of God. God is all powerful. So we're made in the image of, like, all powerfulness and beauty. God is beautiful. So we're made in the image of beauty and power. Now, what if there was something that was really beautiful and powerful, and you wanted to destroy it? You try to take away the source of that power and beauty from them, thus making them.
Try to take their light away or to separate them from that. Well, yeah, that's what I think. Like, generally, like trauma, abuse, like a lot of dehumanizing, obviously things like genocide, and then also you mentioned the thing of like taking us more towards like a aggressive animalistic. So there's even the theory that we didn't used to eat meat as humans, that we were not actually designed to eat meat originally. I'm not saying on like a whole vegan trip. I'm just saying like the idea that we actually did not originally eat meat, but that there used to be this is like a theory I have too, that there used to be these plants on the earth that actually had all the nutrients that meat has, but they were plants and they loved being eaten and they regrew back really quickly and they were like the perfect food for humans and they tasted amazing. Like some of them almost tasted like ice cream. When you mix like dairy and eggs and you get the fat and the sweet. Well, that's what these like fruity fruits had, these fatty fruits. So we're like an avocado, but even more of like everything that the animal foods have, like all the fat soluble nutrients were actually in them. And if they actually remove those plants or strip them from the earth, maybe they have the seeds in a vault in Antarctica or something. But if they remove those plants, now we're forced to eat meat because that's the only place in nature right now that we can get those nutrients. So anyways, I know it's an off branch of what you were saying, but it's another way. There's an agenda to make us more like animalistic and killing to kind of take us away from, our like more peaceful nature. I'm not saying killing animals ungodly though. I mean, it is a beautiful thing. I'm not saying like killing an animal is necessarily in that way, but it does make us more aggressive and we're having to kill things and eat dead animals rather than, but yeah, that's another layer. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in the Bible, they didn't eat meat in the Garden of Eden. They started eating meat after they kicked out of the garden. And when they were kicked out of the garden, God cursed the ground. He didn't actually curse Adam. He cursed the snake. But he didn't curse Adam because Adam he chose to eat the apple out of love for Eve, not out of like a selfish desire. But he cursed the ground and made it so that Adam had to actually like cultivate and till the soil instead of it naturally bringing forth his abundance. So I think upon cursing the ground, I'm not too sure if many animal species went extinct, but I think a lot of animal species were basically like if you're on really nice nutrients, you're going to grow nice fruits that are going to be good and edible. Now, if God cursed the entire earth because of Adam's sin, essentially, I think all those plants have to struggle that much more, so they won't produce as nutritious of foods, and that's now why man had to start supplementing with meat because the vegetation suffered because of Adam.
Well, okay, but then did the vegetation change, or because so as far as I know, like in plants,
that's what I'm saying.
Like, there's a bunch of nutrients that are just not in any plants. Like there's a bunch of them.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is animals drastically adapt to the environment they're in. Like if you take and put it outside, it becomes a boar, right? So I think that the plants, although they're the same plants as before, their form, their adaptation to the environment is drastically changed, basically, because they have to deal with basically cursed ground that they're drawing their nutrients off of. So they focus more on survival, less on production of really good fruits, unless man cultivates the soil.
I wish there was a plant that just grew like filet mignons and lobsters and stuff.
Well, that's what I was suggesting, that there used to be these like meaty plants.
Yeah, I heard you say that. It sounds dope.
Or like ice creamy ones. Yeah, like the fat.
Dippin' Dots. You're gonna have to do Dippin' Dots if we're going ice cream. It's gonna be like a pomegranate, but with Dippin' Dots on the inside.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess no. Like, what is the nature of this cursing the ground? It would be what the question would be, but because it does seem like the human design is to eat something like more satiating than what plants really offer. I don't know if you've ever even tried going vegan. I mean, I guess everyone's different. Some people actually enjoy the taste of the diet, but
nah, that sounds just dumb. It doesn't even sound like a smart idea.
My sister tried to go vegan, and my dad's like kind of authoritarian, so he didn't really let me tell her to stop, essentially. But let's just say she ran into some issues like health-wise, and kind of forced to stop. Just I'm pretty much about
types of people that I don't trust. That's vegans, penguins, and the French. Just heads up for everybody.
Anyone
amazing French people. No, French, you can't diss the French. French are awesome.
Also, you don't trust anybody that was born after Tupac died.
Yeah, let me just break it down for you, Gio.
Jeremy's going Tupac. I'm going love the French.
They did go mental and kill a lot of their best stock, Gio, so in 1792, just FYI.
Oh, and people who think that pandas are real. I don't trust them either.
And there's some vegans that are awesome too. Everyone, I mean, it's a mixed bag. There's probably different people in all different kind of areas, but
Yeah, so I think veganism is not actually possible. I don't know. These people who say they've been vegan for life, but sometimes I kind of doubt that.
Well, Gio's got the thing where the girl loses her period. So like that could be like the end of humanity. If everyone was like, all right, fuck it, we're going vegan, you guys are right. And then all the women lose their period and now we can't reproduce.
Yeah, I don't know that all women lose their. Okay, I have a lot to say. If we're shifting to this topic, or if we're kind of. But go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to say this about the whole thing. So in the garden, Adam and Eve are just eating fruits. Now, I actually believe that these might be the same fruits that we have today, like watermelon, strawberry, blueberry. But back then, they're subsiding off of.
They were fruitarian.
Like, yeah, that's what God said. Eat whatever you want of the tree. The tree will be flesh for you. Blah blah. Then the sin happens. God curses the ground, and now you have to till and like work the ground to get food out of it instead of it just naturally bring forth its abundance. And furthermore, even if you do that, you need to supplement with meat. It says it directly in Genesis. So I think that. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that, Gio? What do you think about a difference in the like soil causing actually people to become carnivores?
I'm open to it. Remember, also, doesn't it talk about in the Bible the idea that like the water used to come from under the ground? Like, you know how the rain right now comes from above, but that the water used to be like a mist that was like saturated the ground. I don't know if Lion's in here, but at some point when Lion was describing that was awesome too. I was like resonating. I mean, dude, I'm open to that. The only thing is if you're talking about like some commandment that you now have to till the land, that could make me think that like that could be part of like the agricultural quote unquote revolution, but like the agricultural age. And if they put that in the religion, I don't know if that would be kind of to fuel that agricultural concept. But that also could have been added. I mean, dude, I think the Bible was like originally something different, and a bunch has been added to it. So anytime the Bible gets brought up, like I just feel like it's a mixture of different components in there. But if the soil was different, but would that also have to do with it being more moisture in the ground and like the mist that's referred to that like saturated the ground with more water?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I think he dropped connection. He dropped out. Yeah, go ahead.
Unrelated to this, but I'm just curious what you guys think on the 1st of April. Artemis is going to send 4 astronauts to orbit the moon. What do you think of that?
Did you hear that they turned Artemis 3? They're not gonna land men on the moon in Artemis 3 now?
Well, that's quite possible, but on the 1st of April this year, they're supposed to be sending the 4 guys to orbit the moon, so they'll be going around it. What do you think of that?
We'll see. The first Artemis was really bad in terms of what we got. So, I mean, if this one's better, we'll see. But the last one was really bad. The footage was.
What was? I don't get what was bad about the first one.
Oh, it was limited. It had nothing. It had very little angles. The one moon, it was terrible. I mean, we can go over them, but that was abysmal.
Okay.
I mean, it was only very slightly better than what they put out in the 70s. It was
there's actual people on this one, so they'll have a chance to hopefully to take some good photos.
Yeah, I think what's hard for them is to do a moon landing, which is why they only did it in 1969 and 70 and so on back then. That's the harder thing to fake, especially today. But these flybys and things are all very easy when they're just 2 layers. They have a layer of the kind of inside the ship layer, then the outer layer. They're not actually interacting. We won't actually see them approach the moon or land on it or anything in that, you know. It's just the way that they have some of the like the Dragon X with SpaceX and all those, where they look like they're orbiting around, you know, like a ball kind of layer in the background, but there's no actual interactivity. So that's easiest thing for them to fake. The more difficult thing is if they were to claim they're landing men on it. And of course, they're pulling back from that. So we're going on 70 years now, and never even having gone back.
Ham radio. I'll tell you why it was really hard. It was much easier in the 1970s, 69 and 1970s. It's because test pilots did the job. The life of a test pilot, to be lucky if he got to middle age in those days. So
Hey Phil, we can hear you, but your mic is a little bit muffled. Are you able to fix your mic a little?
All right. So back in those days, space flight was a 50-50 option. You only had a 50% chance of coming back. We would not accept that kind of thing. We wouldn't even accept a 90% chance of coming back now.
Wait, that's your reason why men haven't been back to the moon?
Because in order to get to that kind of safety, where you're getting to 90% and more, or even 99% chance of coming back, then that level of requires an incredible amount of technology and an incredible budget. Which of course the United States had other things to do that they wanted. They wanted the space station. they wanted the
Phil, I got you.
they wanted retrievable rockets. They wanted space shuttle. All of those sort of things got in the way of the budget of actually going back to the moon. But safety is one of the major concerns, because they did not accept a 50-50 chance of making it out alive these days.
Okay, I did hear you, I think mostly, but your mic went muffled again at the end, but it was better. So whatever you did to make it better, if you could fix that. Yes, they've done other projects. They claim they did the ISS. They claim they did the space shuttle, all of this low Earth orbit stuff. Now let me just ask you this, and I understand that's kind of been the excuses and the idea over the years why men has never even landed foot again on the next largest celestial body, if that was actually true. But the other thing to it is, even with this Artemis 2 coming up, if they're going there, why don't they just land? Is there engineering that weak in 2026 that they can go 250,000 miles there and back, 500,000 miles, but they can't land? And they did it multiple times back in the 60s, 70s?
Landing is the hardest thing.
Real quick. Hold on real quick. On the last statement that you made, bro, regarding the percentage, you said it's 50. Where are you getting these numbers from? It's 50%?
No, they were
50% yes of making it back. Yeah,
because 100% of the people who have traveled to the moon have returned safely to Earth. 100%.
No, he's saying the risk liability. Like they're saying, like when they chalked it up on the drawing board, NASA said, "Well, 50% odds." No, that's just wrong.
They nearly lost.
Like, you're gonna have to say, okay, this is what NASA claims. And you're going to have a very difficult time, because NASA claims it was like
which part of
in the 90s.
Went over your head?
Dude, you hear me talking, right? NASA claims in the 90s. That's their official stance. That was what their projected success rate was.
Yo, Gio, I have a really important update. So, do you remember when I referred to the lunar lander as a meth head tree fort?
They nearly lost 3 of them.
Okay, so actually, the Nazis, and this was widespread in Germany, at the time, all of them were on something called Pervitin, Pervitin, which is a brand name for methamphetamine introduced in 1938 by Berlin-based Temmler Pharma. It was heavily used by the German military during World War II. So definitionally, if NASA was, originally a bunch of Nazis, it was quite literally a meth head spaceship. So my meth head tree fort thing was correct.
Well, that guy, the Flat Earth, Jake, FEA, like he would go by Flat Earth Asshole was his name. His name is Jake though, and now he was like Jake the Asshole, and then originally he was Flat Earth Asshole, and then Jake the Asshole. He used to call it like a homeless tweaker shelter or something. He would go out, and there's like a T-shirt, and did he say meth head tweaker thing? I don't know, but how are you saying the meth is linked up? Well, you're saying NASA, Nazis, but is the claim that the astronauts were on it?
Epidemic among the Nazis to take something called Pervitin, which a bunch of the German soldiers were on. This is how they attribute Germany, like so many German victories, to stop them from sleeping. It was methamphetamine.
But is the claim that the astronauts were on it when they were going to the moon, or no?
No, I mean the people who designed it were Nazis. So I guess
so you're just saying the ones who made it are meth tweakers. Yeah. Okay, you're not saying you're not
based on. Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh my god!
So if you look at
inventors and creators of this thing.
Can I post drug policy of Nazi Germany in the chat, or is that like medical related? It's a Wikipedia article.
I think it's just more the vaccine stuff, or the COVID is the issue. Other like
that the pilots are still given amphetamine, right, on a long mission, on a long duration mission. Like if they have to fly 20 hours, that's still a thing. It's not methamphetamine though. It's some other amphetamine. That's not quite as hot.
It's like everybody in Nazi Germany was on this legal meth, and it's all those Nazi scientists, they were likely popping Pervitin, which is meth. It's like Adderall, basically. So when I called it a meth head tree fort, I mean, I wasn't wrong if you think about it.
Dude, that is
I wanna-
funny. Now I get what you're saying. By the way, I think Professor Phil left, so I think he dropped out. Because we were kind of debating with him, so I'm just like saying that he was maybe going to respond to all this, but I think looks like he's not here. Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, back in the 40s and 50s, like World War II, there was a ton of like drugs and like speed and like the amphetamines. And then going into the 50s, there was also a lot of amphetamines as well. Like they were giving amphetamines to like all kinds of people in the 40s and 50s. So arguably, like that was like a lot of just like amphetamine out stuff.
It's well known. Do you know the Beatles? They used to play in Hamburg for the very start of their career, sort of first big shows, and the owner of the club used to say Mac Shaw, and he used to give them the amphetamines or whatever it was. I think it was meth. I'm not exactly sure what it was. I know they used to do like we used to call it speed, but
they called them Black Beauties or Black Betties back in the day.
Yeah,
baseball players took them and called them Greenies.
Well, they used to play. Beatles used to play like crazy, 15 hours, 18 hours. So they were just dead on the feet. So that's how they got through it.
Yeah, speed for sure. Like back in the 50s, like doctors were like prescribing speed to like women for like weight loss and stuff, like, you know, like it was nuts. They were using it and like being given as a medical.
Yeah, if you want to lose weight and clean your house, there's nothing better.
I don't know if you were joking, but that's funny the way you said it. Yeah.
I'm always joking. Come on.
If you want to clean your Oh man, dude, that's a drug I've never really done or gotten into. I actually have done it inadvertently. The only times I've done speed is when it was in some liquid LSD. You know, what are you gonna do? I kind of knew that it had some in there anyways, but I remember I got one liquid LSD that definitely had speed in it, and so I have experienced speed that way. I mean, I've done like a lot of MDMA, but that's not really speed. That's, you know, the Molly.
That's speed is MDMA.
No, it's not the same though. It's different. The methylene dioxymethamphetamine, MDMA, it is technically an amphetamine, but it's very, very different than like the regular amphetamine, like the speed itself. It has a very different effect.
I remember taking the old classic Sudafed, man, when you're feeling like shit, and you'd take that and it would like perk you right up. You'd be feeling like 100 times better after you popped it.
That's the syrup.
No, even the pills, the one that just anything that had the pseudoephedrine or whatever.
GHB.
The pseudoephedrine, whatever the active ingredient that we used to be able to get with good Sudafed. I don't think you can even get it anymore. It's so controlled now. I think like we can't have nice things anymore because all the tweakers would use it to make meth.
Pseudoephedrine.
Yeah, pseudoephedrine. It used to totally like you would feel like shit, like you couldn't even get to work or go to school. You would just feel like total shit. You'd feel tired and sore and all that. And you'd pop those things and like, dude, within like 45 minutes, you're like, shit, I'm ready to go to school. I'm good.
Which one? Wait, okay. So if we're talking like straight speed or amphetamines, yeah, those give you like a jacked up energy. Yeah, where people, and then there's methamphetamine too, I guess too, the methylated version. But what chemical are you talking about now? Which one?
It's called pseudoephedrine. They put it in for cold and flu tablets. Dries out the sinuses. They use it as a party drug as well. But they switched it out more recently. In fact, my uncle doctor said like just in a passing conversation about a year or two ago, is like apparently pseudoephedrine doesn't work for colds and flus is now what the science is saying, which is why they're switching to all this PE stuff. There's like a whole new kind of cold and flu medicine that they're coming out with.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of amphetamine that was used in the Vietnam War as well. They were like pumping amphetamine into the Vietnam War. All those soldiers were like jacked and cracked up, you know, just up all night, and just speed is crazy. Yeah. It gives you like immense energy. That's why like there's stories of people staying up for like 5 days in a row, you know, with speed. And I think in the World War II as well, like Hitler and probably that whole Nazi crew, there was all kinds of drugs. And yeah, the one you just mentioned, which is speed right there, which is admitted that they were using it. So yeah, there's like a version of speed.
Yeah, so what he was referring to before was like, yeah, all the cookers were basically getting their like minions or something to run around to all the pharmacies and say that they need some cold and flu, and then they would take it back and they would cook it down and they would turn it into speed. I think the bikie gangs were doing a lot of that shit.
Well, this one that Gally posted, I'm looking at I clicked on the wiki, and yeah, Pervitin. This was just straight methamphetamine. It was just widely used in Nazi Germany. And by the end of 1941, usage was restricted to a doctor's prescription. But yeah, that basically World War II and the Vietnam War were just full of amphetamine drugs, from my understanding. I don't know what percentage all the people involved in it were actually on an amphetamine, but like they were bringing that into Vietnam and just giving it to the soldiers. They were also using it to torture soldiers by like when they would capture like the US soldiers, they would like tie the guy down and then force speed pills down his throat and make him stay up for days until he would finally like leak the information of like where the American camp was. So they were like torturing these like Americans by forcing speed pills down their throats. So they stayed jacked on it for days and days until they would start to just lose it and tell any secrets, you know? It's pretty dark.
Yo, ecstasy's meth too, bro. It's not ecstasy, it's meth, dude. Or Molly. People think it's ecstasy or Molly. You test it, dude, it's meth. Or speed. Or some type of concoction of it.
Well, no, MDMA, if you're talking about MDMA, which is, yeah, I mean, ecstasy is usually
No,
No?
not MDMA. No, not the MDMA. MDMA, if it's pure MDMA, no, that's not meth. What you think is pure MDMA is meth. Like at the festivals, people think they're getting MDMA. They're really getting meth. And I know people think that MDMA because it has a similar compound, but it's not meth.
Yeah, but you can run
MDMA
test
isn't
kits for
speed.
that.
Yeah, MDMA isn't speed.
Yeah. Okay. You're saying people are selling ecstasy even though it's just speed and they're calling it ecstasy?
Yeah,
Is that-
yeah.
Well,
It's
dude, I
cheaper.
love that in the early days, like I didn't used to be able to get like actual Molly, like the pure pharmaceutical grade, like pure white powder, because that's what MDMA really should be. And back in the day, I used to get like e-pills all the time, basically like ecstasy pills and whatnot. And that was the other place. I've had speed only inadvertently, either when it was mixed with LSD or when it was mixed with MDMA in ecstasy pills. Because yeah, they would do that with those press pills for sure back in the early like 2000s, mid 2000s, all that during that time.
Yeah, same.
They
But
were pressing all these e-pills, and they would have like some MDMA, but the MDMA is more expensive, and then the speed is cheaper. So yeah, they'll do like, you know, it'll be like a third
So
speed.
you could
and
get
then the
like
rest-
white doves, or you'd have something like Mitsubishi's or Mitsubishi Turbos, which
they might
obviously
mix
there's
it.
a lot of turbo going on there. But
And
the
then
white
it-
doves
and
were
then-
the pure MDMA. That's what the street names were here.
Oh, nice. You could get ones that were pure. Yeah, I had some that were pure MDMA as well, but they have to be very honest to do that. They have to take real MDMA, because basically real MDMA as a powder, it can't be pressed. So in order to press it into a pill or a little like capsule, any type of pill, well, you could put it in a capsule, just a powder, if you have one of those type ones. But if you press it into an actual like little pill, like a tablet, then you have to press it with something. So you either have to press it with something inert that's just natural, and then you're just getting the MDMA, or they're going to add in like speed or other things in there because they know they can get you addicted and they want to sell more. And some people actually like the mixture of like speed and MDMA. Like I guess for like maybe raving or partying and stuff. I definitely had like several e-pills that were like definitely had speed in them, and I never liked it because basically like the E starts coming on, meaning the MDMA, and you feel really good, But then the speed, it has this really intense edge to it because you're like literally jacked on speed. And then the speed would wear off in like 2 hours. But the MDMA is going to go for like 6 or 8 hours. So you're still rolling on the MDMA, but the speed wore off after 2 hours. So, anyways, it's just not.
I didn't like the speed. I don't like the ecstasy pills are trash, bro. The pure MDMA is way better.
Oh yeah,
The few times that
difference, yeah.
Were they the
Yeah,
Paul
it is,
Franks
yeah.
or the naked ladies?
Because like MDMA on its
I don't
own
remember,
doesn't.
dude.
MDMA on its own like doesn't really seem damaging to the brain, although you don't want to do it like too often, which I definitely have tested that, and because it will kind of start to lower your serotonin, but you can bounce back from it if you just lay off it. But the MDMA seems like pretty safe, like I think, even though I'm not really into any synthetic chemicals, and I wouldn't like outwardly even recommend anyone even take a synthetic chemical ever. But it is still a very interesting compound. I just think like peyote is better, basically. Peyote has a lot of the same effects, but it's just way more natural. So I think there's things that are better too. But nonetheless, like MDMA does seem like pretty safe overall. I mean, I've done it many, many, many times, even at high doses, as well. Like I've tested the higher limit, and yeah, I don't think it's like overall damaging. Whereas speed like is pretty damaging. It seems like straight speed, which is why it's different than MDMA. That's one of the things. And like methamphetamine obviously is really bad. Totally like ruins your physical health, and so yeah, MDMA doesn't do
You'll
that.
stay up all night gluing pots and pans together, and then all this other stuff like putting cardboard, curtain rods. And you're like, oh, I made a lunar lander. Like you gotta avoid that meth, Dude, there's curtain rods, aluminum foil, and like, oh man, it's so good. Cardboard. You look at that thing and you're like, man, that's like a 9th grade Adderall addict school project that he made at the last minute.
Dude, that is hilarious when you say it that way. Yeah.
Have you seen it lately?
It's like
the world. We go into space.
Get a picture.
Dude, they use the air conditioned venting on the one because there's a few lunar landers, because they claim they had a different one for the different years. But if you look at like the 72 or it might be the 71, but dude, there's they literally just use air conditioner vents. They're air conditioner vents. And then tinfoil.
You got your curtain rods. It's amazing.
Hey, wait, I think I have a meme for this. Oh yeah, this one. This one's an oldie but a goodie because it has a bunch of them listed. It says, I'll read it. It says, parts needed to build your own high-tech, scientific, sturdy, multi-million-dollar spacecraft. Multi-million-dollar spacecraft. All right, lots of big sheets of cardboard, a big roll of roofing paper, a few old curtain rods, a few odd gadgets, some floodlight holders, an old TV antenna, a roll of gold foil, and lots of scotch tape to hold it all together in the hostile environment of the moon's surface.
Dude, back in the Doctor Who days, I don't know if you guys know, the original Dalek, they literally took a plunger and they glued it to the Dalek because it was like budget and you're supposed to like suspend disbelief or whatever. And, people could look at this and they could suspend disbelief and say, oh man, yeah, that's a robot that could like slurp out my soul and I'm stuck in it forever. But it's a plunger. They literally glued a plunger to it.
Wait, on which one? On one, dude, that one you just posted. I know. Look at those little, dude. Those are not operational thrusters. Yeah, those are like little teacups on the end of a paper mache or like a foil.
Those are like the expandable dog bowls, when you're traveling.
Yeah. Right, right. Or one of those remember those, like it was like a cup that you could compact down into a little thing, and then you could open it up, and then you could fill it.
Oh, keychain cups that people had, the little keychain cups. Yeah,
Portable
those are
cup.
keychain cups. just in case they needed to take a sip on the moon. How Scissor
Well, they
break it
gotta
open.
cheers, bro. They have to cheers.
Oh man.
Yeah, they're all tweaked out on meth and just being like, let's just convince the public that this went to the moon.
Yeah, because like when if you ever like hung out with people who are on like Adderall or any of those things or cocaine, they think every idea is like the greatest idea. It's like let's just open like an amusement park stand, like it'd be great. Like we'll have stuffed animals and like nobody will win and we'll make a lot of money. And then like other people on cocaine are like, yeah, this is the best idea ever. We're totally gonna do it tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna, and then like they pass out after the cocaine runs out. They just think it's the best idea ever. It's like this. I could just see them tweaking out, coming up with this thing. It's like, yeah, we'll just put aluminum foil on the sides and gold foil, and we'll say like that's thick gold and the carpenter paper. I mean, look at the image you posted. There's curtain rods. There's like paper. This looks like a kid who I'm gonna post a screen cap of what you posted. This looks like a kid who was rushing to get his school project done last minute. That's what it looks like.
Like paper mache.
Yeah, and then people have to defend this because their whole paradigm is based on this thing. This complete joke.
Yeah, I mean, I think back in those years, though, that may have all been what was needed to convince the public. It looked to them, I guess to people that had never seen any lunar lander thing, that was, sci-fi enough looking that they believed it, apparently. I mean, most people did. There's always been a lot of people that have known that it was all fake, but what would you say? They got at least 85% of the people right off the bat, probably?
Oh, they definitely got at least 10 people. I know that. I know at least 10 that they got. Oh, percentage-wise? Oh, probably at least 10%.
Not only that, remember they were rooting for America versus Russia.
Yeah, it was like a war thing, right?
Yeah. So that made it more patriotic. So people were gonna really try to question it, like, yeah, we did it. Fuck y'all.
Oh yeah.
There is a psychological
total
phenomenon
propaganda. Propaganda.
called benevolent prejudice that we should look out for. And this psychological phenomenon is when you know that a thing is wrong, misleading, deceptive, or a lie, but you go along with it as if it's benevolent because you don't want to appear as the out group. And we see this happening a lot in like Stalin's Russia or North Korea, where they put on that smile and they say, "Dear leader is awesome. He got 18 hole-in-ones with one swing," or whatever things where they like almost seemingly truly believe it, even if they haven't looked into it. Or like in Stalin's Russia, you'd have people doing like neighbor checks where they were like, "Hey, so how do you feel about dear leader Stalin?" And if they said anything negative or whatever, you might get reported to the KGB, so like you didn't do that because you don't want to go to Gulag. So there is a thing called benevolent prejudice that might be worth looking into, where people will just go along with something that they can't support just out of fear of being excluded from the in-group. Very real thing. In other words, if it was cool to deny the moon landing, probably everyone would do it. This is benevolent prejudice. I put the article in the chat for you guys.
I think it was just a very different time. Because back then, the youth just started waking up to the realization that the government was corrupt. through the Vietnam War. So at least post World War II, like what went on before World War II is a whole nother discussion potentially, and maybe what we've been lied to about it as well. But even like after World War II, they had like the youth was pretty subdued in the 50s. You know, they were all just like there was a whole control put thing. Like they did like a test, it seemed like, to see if they could raise humans basically to be that way. And it just totally backfired, like trying to get it to where everyone was just completely automated basically to what they wanted. Now they did get a lot of it though, because people are obviously working jobs and doing, you know, the whole system. But because like, yeah, the youth in the 50s, it was all, you know, you wear your uniform to school kind of thing. And everyone, you had to just be all like kind of chipper and then just do all the schooling and just obey and then like get some job, you know, in some part of the industry that they would kind of want you to be into a job, and there was like no room for like it was very militaristic. And then in the 60s with all the like the hippies, they all started rebelling and being like, no, like there is an actual like corrupt thing going on here. And then that unraveled more in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, all the way up till now, because the control they had on the youth in the 50s is completely different than it is today.
Well, you've got a crazy timeline, right? So during World War II, we were putting people in gulags in the US. If they looked Asian, we're putting them in internment camps, right? After World War II, so let's say this is 1967, right? In 1957, Sputnik 1 launched. That was the first satellite. The first animal in space was 1957 Sputnik 2. The first human in space was Yuri Gagarin in 1961. And the first impact on the moon was Luna 2. These are all Russian missions. 1959. And the first unmanned soft landing on the moon was like the Luna 9 in 1966. So now, Gio, you say to me in 1967, I'm sorry, 1969, the United States, we didn't land on the moon. I'm calling you a communist because Russia had the first satellite, animal in space, human in space, impact on the moon, unmanned soft landing on the moon, and now you're telling me that we didn't land on the moon. Because Russia had done all these things. And you know what it was like being called a communist in the late 60s? You're getting, like, persecuted by everybody. There was something called the Red Scare, right? So Russia has all these achievements. We land on the moon and we're like, yeah, we're not communists. Like, we did that. We won the space race. And then, you know, you go, oh, well, we didn't do that. I'm calling you a communist. Because now you're saying that Russia did all these things. And we didn't.
That's pretty intense, dude. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know if that was all of it, but that you maybe have some that do link like the moon landing to a success over communism, quote unquote, as if that was really a thing.
It's called
it's what
public
declared us
shame.
winning the space race, right?
Yeah, no, that is linked in, I think, even to the generation that was like already in their adult age by the moon landing time, more so than the younger ones. Because the younger ones, like the ones that were like in their teens, a lot of them are kind of like 50-50 in a way on it. You know, they're not quite as tied to it. And then people born after are even more like, whereas now it seems like there's probably a high percentage. If you were to go through like right now, like middle schools, high schools, and interview every child, like whether they believe the moon landing, don't you think the percentage of how many believe it is way lower than it's ever been? Even
Yeah, I
today?
wonder if that. Yeah, I wonder if that's a thing. Like, the further away it is from your generation, the less believable it is.
That would be like a natural cycle. Like that a lie would just die over generations. Like that the truth lasts over generations and the lie will die, you know, within some amount of time. That's interesting to think. Like the lies just have an expiration point. Except you could also say the controllers right now seem to be getting quite a long amount of time on a lot of lies. But maybe that's because they did some multi-generational kind of thing, it seems like.
I think it's just cyclical based on like generational nepotism becoming less and less like for example, let's say you're Hunter Biden, right? Like your whole family has been like in this echelon of existence, all this material wealth, power, blah, blah, blah. All it takes is one generation to rebel against it, right? And then there goes all that generational wealth, etc. And then that offspring is basically like, oh, well, my father was, he was a piece of shit, drunk, blah, 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 lost all his wealth. I'll never be like him. And then build it back up again, and then it's the same cycle over and over. So I see it anyway.
Right, sold a bad deal, and then they sell that bad deal to their kids. Dude, it's crazy because, like, there's a lot of people who were so supportive of the government in, like, the 80s, 70s, 60s. And, like, man, if I just support the government who defeated the Russians in the Cold War and the space race, and we won World War II, then my children will be able to take vacations on the moon. And then they were just lied to. It never happened. We're, what, like 60 years out from that now? No, 55 years. Like, we're not going to the moon, and no regular person is going to the moon. Even NASA's like, oh no, we don't know if we're going to land or not. We'll do a drive-by and feel it out. We'll see if we can land. I mean, we're not taking any chances. It's all bullshit. And all these people who had these dreams, right? These were dream crushers. These people had these dreams of sending their grandkids on vacations on the moon. They were just completely abused. They were lied to. They were tricked. It never happened, and it never will happen. But they hold on to that. Like Gio said, it's a sunk cost fallacy.
And did you guys hear that Artemis 3, apparently they're not going to be landing men on the moon for Artemis 3? They changed the whole program and totally put it towards like low Earth orbit. Just totally, completely gave up on it. So they're claiming they're doing this.
Sorry,
dude. I know his name's gonna be Leaky Valve for like what, 5 years now? He's got 5 years worth.
Nah, he already did his time. It was only 1 week bet, but it's funny though.
No, dude. Someone just posted that. I haven't like checked for more sources or whatever, but I saw that one and it was from like a major news thing. Yeah, they're saying that Artemis 3, they're not going to be landing men on the moon after all. And they changed the whole program, redirected the whole thing, changed funding, and changed all the projects instead. So now they're apparently doing this one in a few days of the Artemis 2, going to be flying around the moon. So now all they have to do, in my view, is have the layer of people in their 0G, which they can fake these days, not hard, and then put that amongst a back layer that shows a moon layer and claim they went around the moon. They probably won't show any actual like leaving the Earth or going to the moon or approaching the moon, none of that, but they will show like some flybys, and it'll probably be enough, for them to pass. And then they canceled the landing of the men on the moon. So all they have to do is fake one of those, which I don't think is hard. They can put just like they did with that SpaceX car thing. They just put a globe layer in the background. That's it. So now they can easily fake just the fly around, and now they don't even have to deal with the actual landing men on it, which I'm not really into the roasting thing, but if people want to were to roast the globe guys for that, they could, like, especially people like NASA Shill, who obviously is like, because now first they gave arguments that we are the reasons that we don't want to go back. And then when NASA said they were going back, they were all like, oh yeah, we really want to go. Of course we're going to go. And now it's canceled. They're like, oh, it does kind of put it back into the position that they're faking it. Yeah. It's like, they're not doing it.
When they're like, oh no, makes no sense for them to go to the moon. They had like a million reasons why NASA wouldn't want to go to the moon.
Nothing's there.
Yeah.
Why would we go back?
NASA comes out and says, we're putting men on the moon again. And then they have to completely switch their position. And now where they at now? Like,
they should have told NASA, why would you go back? Nothing's there. Give them all the Glober excuses. Yeah, you could have saved them a whole bunch of time and effort.
Maybe they're listening to us and they got convinced by NASA Shill. Like, yeah, we don't want to go. I'm just joking.
I mean, it's the same feeling that Globers get when they talk about TFE, though. The same feeling that we get when we talk about the moon. It's like, oh, their hopes and dreams are crushed.
Well, dude, I mean, I think they can fake the Artemis 2. Just the flyby, that can't be too hard to fake. Just have the back layer of a moon layer and have the people, oh my God.
No, of course not.
They're in their little zoo. They did that for the Dragon X one, the SpaceX one. They're doing it. It's like SpaceX did it, where the one that they claim they went around the North Pole to South Pole on the globe. They claim that Dragon one did it, but that's just I just don't think that's the actual Earth. I think it's just a layer that they put in, because that's a new thing they're doing, where they show the people in the little cupola thing with and they're floating around. It makes it seem like they're there, and then you just put the back layer, and that's it. But landing
think
on
about
the
the
moon, that'd
budget.
be a whole other thing.
Think about the budget that Hollywood gets to make, to have world building movies, like these crazy ass, sets that they build and tear down. Like, and the reason why they get that money is because they know they can make it back somewhat. Sometimes they don't, but there's a good chance that they're going to make that back and more, right? Now, if you're going to do a movie or a fake production set for the government, you are getting that back, right? That's guaranteed, like, money in your pocket. So the budget is, whatever it has to be. Literally, I wouldn't be, I'm not putting it past them at all. If they can trick everybody in 1960, then they can trick everybody in 2026 for sure. 100%.
Well, no, I hear you, but I mean, I think like putting men on the actual, if they were to have men land on the moon, see, okay, in my brain, I've been thinking, okay, this Artemis 2 thing is not hard for them to fake. Just a flyby, they have a layer in the background. They're pretty good at this layered composites these days to where they at least looks, somewhat plausible. And for most people, they're just going to believe it. So they can do that easily, but a difficult thing to do, much more difficult thing would be to actually land, have men get out, be on the actual lunar surface, having to incorporate like a lot of the factors that they would have to today. Like the way they faked it back then was way different. To think about what they'd have to do today to make it look real. And then all of the components of that, like I was open to the idea that they could fake that, even with AI and stuff. I'm not saying they couldn't do it, but it is interesting that they now canceled the Artemis 3. That basically indicates that they can't do it. You have to either say they can't, if you think you can go to the moon, you have to say they can't go back and actually land people on it. And I was asking Professor Phil when he was in here, he never answered that. Like, why would you go 250,000 miles there and 250,000 miles back and not land on it? What are you, like, is your technology is not good enough to just land on it? You did it multiple times back in the 60s and 70s with no problems. You popped off like a little firework to go back. So why would you even go 250,000 miles not to land on it in the first place? And then now they cancel landing men on it because, yeah, that's the much harder thing to fake, is to have men actually walking around on it versus just the flyby. So it's fitting that it's not a real place.
I mean, I could present my working theory. It's just that like meth is a narcotic. It's a controlled substance. It's a little bit harder to access probably for NASA, even though they're a government agency. So maybe they can't get as much meth.
I mean, no. I was thinking more along the lines of, this is just a maybe. I'm not saying if it's true or not. What if they did actually go to the moon and everything we've been shown about the moon is totally fake? And the reason why they're going to go 250,000 miles and back and not land on it is for some diplomatic reason or some political reason that we're not aware of, or who knows? It could be a lot of things, I don't know.
That's the Glober's
They like to speak
original,
in code.
but that's the Glober's original position anyway, so you're right back to where you started.
Well, that's some people's view. Like, okay, I realized the moon landing was like a hoax event before I realized the Earth wasn't a globe. So, but even when I realized the moon landing was not legitimate, I didn't really necessarily think that they had gone there and they're not showing us the real things. But I mean, we've all thought about that. Obviously, you do. If you're still in the globe thing, you're like, all right, they faked all that, but did they really go? And they're hiding what they really did. Which, when you think about it, even if the globe thing was real with the moon out there as a ball, anyone in power would do that. Like they would actually show the fake one. I mean, if they're good at all at being a villain or a criminal, you'd think that that's what they would know to do. It's not that hard to know to do that. So, yeah, it's a theory, I guess, but that would involve the idea that you can't actually go there, and then they just didn't show us the real thing, which then links out to like other like theories of like aliens with the whole like glow model thing as well. You know, aliens on the dark side of the moon and all this stuff.
Maybe like you can
Say
only go
demons.
there if you're an esoteric satanic Nazi who's high on methamphetamine.
He's not wrong.
I've seen videos of him. He was absolutely tweaking out. It was crazy. Like he looked like a tweaker.
Who did?
Yeah, it was called like what was it, Periton or some shit like that? It was like a mix of heroin and meth. It was this drug called Periton.
Pervitin.
Pervitin, thank you.
Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, all like the NASA people, they have these weird esoteric roots. There's all these weird satanic roots. Like Werner von Braun was friends with Arthur C. Clarke and all those other guys. Disney. Not C.S. Lewis.
Wrote a story with Elon Musk.
Philip K. Dick. Yeah, all these guys.
Get the chicken out your mouth.
I mean, waffles. Close.
Chicken and waffles.
You're half wrong.
Well, the problem
but
is
Gally-
the globe position is saying that.
I'm not for sure what they did with the water, how they did, but they
Then
drank
you're
the
on
water.
therapist.
Star Trek.
I was more along the lines thinking, Gally, did you bring up this topic because of predestination?
No, I brought it up because of I told Gio, like, remember when I called the lunar lander a meth head tree fort? It turns out a lot of the Nazis that they brought over were very likely on meth. Pervitin.
Yeah, we were talking about it
the
earlier.
scarred man.
We covered this
Oh,
earlier.
really?
Yeah. That's why he was saying.
Yeah, they
that.
were
We
the scar
joking.
men.
Yep.
They all had scars because it was like part of their like weird frat.
So he's saying that
Yeah,
lunar lander was like made by meth heads, therefore it is actually a meth head. What were you calling it? Tree fort or something?
Tree fort,
He was saying that people on meth actually made it. The Nazis through NASA. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and it wasn't just the Nazis addicted to Pervitin, right? This was an over-the-counter drug that everybody could get, and only after, like later on down the line, was it regulated to a doctor's prescription. Anyone could go and get this. Everyone did go and get this.
No wonder
Everyone
they had
asked,
the
like,
world of
how did
tomorrow.
the Germans have such a great military campaign? They had Blitzkrieg, which was so successful. They invented the Panzer tank, which was like the best tank. The Germans did something crazy, right? Like, you know, Norm Macdonald has the joke, they tried to take on the world, but they almost won. Like, how did they do it? And the answer is meth. Lots of meth. They're probably like
That makes a
disco
lot of sense.
partying,
So
doing
meth
all
is
kinds of related
meth
things.
is the brain drug. You can make an argument for like, all right, the more meth you do, the smarter you could potentially get, or more
Dude.
innovative.
The world of tomorrow. Literally, they were going so fast, they were already in tomorrow. You
Oh,
get
their
it?
planes
Because the
were
world of
death.
tomorrow in the 50s. Yeah.
Their planes were insane. The
I'm
amount of
still
armor
pretty.
they
I'm,
had. Okay.
No, sorry, dude. My brain was in. I was just thinking of. Go ahead. Sorry if I'm interrupting you. I guess. Well, the thing I was going to say though, I did kind of blurt out there, but is that I'm still just blown away that Artemis 3 actually canceled landing men on the moon. So right now there's just no plans, and we're going into 2027 to ever go back to the moon.
It's crazy too, because if it is the case that, you know, like it'd be 2,000 years from Jesus in 2030, that means we're 3.5 years, and then 2028 would be like right around the time something big's supposed to fall out of the sky.
What's that big thing? What's that something big?
Serpent.
The 2030. Why 2030?
No, I don't know. I was just saying if it is, you know, if that's 2,000 years, you know.
Well, and there's the idea of Project Bluebeam, which originally was about like a Messiah coming down and like uniting all of humanity. The Project Bluebeam. Some people talk about it like that it's linked to like aliens doing that, and it has been like that's like a branch off theory. But the original Project Bluebeam is actually like a messiah that would come to make like a one world religion.
Yep, yep. I think that
The
I think the first
Antichrist.
thing that the first thing that comes out of the sky preaching that we want to bring peace and we want to protect you from the second thing that's going to come out of the sky. Yeah, I feel like that could really happen.
That'd be what a time to be alive for that.
Well, Adam to Abraham, 2,000 years. Abraham to Jesus, 2,000 years. Jesus till 2030, 2,000 years.
I gotta get back in the gym, get in fighting shape. Get ready for this war.
Pure. What are you gonna prepare for? You better be preparing for the afterlife,
Running.
bro.
For fucking running, boy.
Nah.
No. What are you gonna do? I mean, you might as well go out
Just
with
give
some
your life
fucking
to
honor.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go out swinging, dude. I ain't going out like on my knees, you know. Because you gotta remember, it's gonna be the Antichrist, and once you reject the mark, it's over.
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
So
So I
that's
want
all
to
I'm
put up
thinking
at
about.
least a little fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like if a bunch of like meth heads with fancy pants and lollipops, they try to get you on board with their like new meth head Shreveport scheme to make a bunch of money. Like, yo, we're gonna open a flower shop. We're gonna sell so many flowers. You're like, dude, lay off the cocaine. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need don't take the deal.
Or maybe just do more of it.
They're up all night, like, all right, how are we going to fake the JFK assassination? They're staying up days at a time, just tweaking out and building like dummies in the car to be filmed with a fake head explosion.
What if we all of us, like all of humanity, got doped up on meth like the Germans did? You think we could take out the Antichrist?
Dude, I actually think some of the, we were talking about that earlier. I think some of those chemicals, like we were talking about the difference between like, yeah, like MDMA, like ecstasy, you know, versus like speed, actual amphetamine and all of those. And dude, it seems to me like, I mean, MDMA actually has a very like heart opening, beautiful energy to it. Like if instead of amphetamine during World War II, if they just replaced it all with MDMA, they all would have like started being like, wait, why are we hurting each other? Like they probably would have stopped instantly. But speed is a whole different animal, like actual amphetamine. And I actually consider that some of these chemicals, like some of those speeds that they were making, are actually imbued with a consciousness that gives access to a demonic entity. So that when they took the drug, it would actually connect their like soul energy to that demonic entity, thus giving that demonic entity control and being able to pull off things like they were doing back in World War II.
Rigor, I think that might give us a fighting chance.
I mean, it seems like, dude, the Discord can't. We have saved heaven. We are going to drug the Antichrist with ecstasy.
Okay.
You're welcome, world.
Give them roofies.
Nah, well, you don't ever want to drug anyone. I would never want to do that, like if unwittingly, but if they well, yeah, there's just very different compounds. Yeah, MDMA is generally very heart opening. People usually become very like apologetic. That's why they were using it for marriage counseling back in the 80s, MDMA, because like if you just give MDMA, because like if you just give MDMA to a man and a woman, even if it's at like a medium dose, they'll just start talking and they'll like work out all their issues. Like their heart will be open in a lot of cases where they'll just be able to understand like the other person's struggles and why the other person is struggling. And if they're not really trying to hurt them, they're really just like acting out or whatever. And then they have like a healing and all that kind of stuff that can happen from it is like amazing. Because and that's why people that have PTSD as well, if they do MDMA, they have like a compassion for themselves where they were like in the war situation of like seeing people being killed or like having their own, you know, all that stuff. And they're able to like connect with it and have compassion and love for themselves. So yeah, it's a very, very different energy than something like speed, which is all like jacks you up and basically expresses like can express a very dark energy
Yeah, I mean, to that sentiment, like that whole hippie, I mean, this is just the framing of it. Like all the hippies were on MDMA and all the fighters were on meth, and they're all sitting there like, they're all sitting there